What? Totally.
Can we actually get a few seconds of silence? The reason for this is we're gonna do a podcast. I've put up a few episodes, but it'll make it easier for me to get a noise profile to limit noise if we have like a few seconds of silence at the start. So. All right, cool. So last time on BionDnD, well, you all kind of finished up the teleportation circle, avoided a confrontation with a segment of the Danish army as a door slams in the distance. As a soldier kind of broke away from the ranks and stole into the secretarium on their own, just happening to come in right near the group of you. And when they did, they seemed frightened and not in a fighting stance. They were holding their weapons out in front of them, threw them on the ground, and begged for mercy. Travian, who was with you, took this development with a bit of a grain of salt, but nonetheless went to the elder, and they talked for a moment and decided to offer a parley to the Danish soldiers. The captain, Filton, I think it was, or Filzen, something like that.
Changed it at some point.
Felvin. Yeah, it was Filton at first, and then it became Felvin. That's what it was. And I think Felvin was way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Milton, but not Filton.
Yeah, Filton just sounds weird. Felvin. There we go. Felvin flew up on his drake and spoke with the elder for a little while, finding out that the group of you were within the secretarium, and he had apparently heard of you because he wanted to talk. As he was escorted to the group of you, you found out that he was, in fact, quite the fan. He told you of some discord that was sown among the ranks of the Danish soldiers. Many of them were not sympathetic to the war effort. They had been told things that seemed not really to line up, and the stuff they were being asked to do was not really tasteful to them. So there was a good bit of dissent among the ranks. And Felvin decided that he, along with his troops, would defect and would pledge their services to you instead. So as this whole kind of thing wraps up, the Ulvari invite these Danish soldiers to stay within the secretarium, a bit under guard. They definitely weren't just like allowed full run of the place, but they were welcomed as guests. Fed, given board. The group of you kind of talked with a few of them. Felvin seemed very much like a commander who took his men's care to heart. Really seemed to have their best interests in mind with his actions. And all of them seemed relatively happy about the change. None of them seemed too broken up about their treason, as they had seemed to have lost quite a bit of their loyalty to country. So you all gained a unit in that way, a following unit that will fight for you if and when you need them. For the time being, you sent them off to the island where first you found Mr. Clanky, and have directed them to begin construction on repairing the ruin on that island. Now, for yourselves, you took the repaired teleportation circle and sent yourselves back to the Luminaire Academy, just outside of the capital of the Lake Duchy, the city of Limna. And there, meeting once again with Anakim, who you'd had some contact with before, and who has a few points of contact in the Thieves Guild as well. He described to you a bit of the state of things as far as the war was concerned, but also what had happened with the rod of the divining rod that Shadra had left with them a while back. Having done a good bit of research on it, they were able to figure out what made it tick and develop a more powerful version, which Anakim then demonstrated to you. This obelisk was rather large and took more treasure than you all have seen in your entire adventure to power itself for just a few moments. But the effect of this was unquestionable. The diamonds that were used as the power source refracted light in certain ways, fueled by the magical energies coursing through this enormous dowsing rod, and kind of aligned into the shape of a map of the continent. And on this map were shown lines, threads stretching from end to end, converging at the location on the map where you currently were at the Luminaire Academy, and ending where each relic weapon was at the present time. Two of them were somewhere of DM indeterminate nature because the other group hasn't gotten to this time yet, but they're somewhere. They actually might be quite close to the academy, but we'll, yes, you can look at Wartok's screen to see kind of the mock-up of what it were. So you got that bit of information, and on that map there was an 11th line, not just the 10 that you had expected. And this 11th line was thinner, weaker than the rest, and pointing almost directly southeast. But it went all the way across the map. That's okay. You take care of what you need to. So with that kind of mystery in mind and your recent discoveries, you decided to return to Limna to discuss with Nair what you all had found out, who you had met, and the developments since last you spoke with him. So, Siegebreakers, what would you like to do? Is that still the plan? Have we discussed other things? Do we want to do anything else before we leave the Luminaire Academy?
Can we TLDR that for me real fast? I'm so sorry.
That's totally okay. Yes, TLDR is you didn't fight. Instead, you made enemy into friend. Friends decided to work for you instead of the King of Dane because he sucks. You teleported and landed almost on Anakim, and then Clanky almost landed on all of you. But you got there, and your strange, weird teleportations magic aside, Anakim described to you what had happened in the intervening weeks that you had been gone, and the progress that had been made with the Divining Rod, and showed you the map of all 10 relic locations, as well as the 11th line that seemed to go nowhere. And then you decided that you wanted to go talk to Nair.
You mean the 7th line, right?
It would be 9th, right? 9th. Because you're only missing 2, the ones that are in the other group. Actually, only 1.
Well, but 2 are just kind of like
2
on us.
True,
yeah,
true.
Two are right on us. It's like
More
yeah,
like
2 are less lines than
plus.
points, but yes.
Okay. I know we needed to talk to Nair.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I needed to find somebody at the Luminaire's Academy.
Okay.
Got a book. I'm hoping somebody there can help me with that.
Yes, indeed. Alrighty.
Might as well sort that out while we're here.
Yes, that would probably be a good idea. So, the book you have is kind of a survey-level treatise on the artificery that was used by the Ulvari. Let me get Limna up here real quick. There we are. So, the folks you'd be looking for most likely, the folk you'd be looking for most likely, would be Argenus, as he was the professor of artificery that you met last time you were there.
Okay. Well.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Deal. 6.
Mostly just for time. Like, you're gonna find him, just like...
Does anybody else remember where the guy with he helped us with artifice and
Colm?
I have a book.
Oh,
Do y'all know
yeah.
where I should go for this? I rolled a 2, by the way.
Anakim is like,
Oh.
oh, the Artificers College? Yes, it's down this hall. And then a little ways. You'll want to follow me.
Oh, deal. Nah, that makes sense. I was
Oh,
gonna just kind
hey,
of start.
we got a subscriber. Thank you, FunQuan1991.
Shut up,
yeah.
Good
Is that
year.
JJ?
Yeah.
Thank you, JJ. You're the best.
Ice JJ Fish?
Yes.
That's the one.
So he leads you, as you recall, the intersections between the different schools are kind of labyrinthine. So
Sure.
he leads you down a hallway and then like down a short staircase that kind of opens up into this broad underground network of intersecting tunnels that would be quite difficult to navigate had you not a guide. But in about 15 or so minutes, you come up on another section, and Anakim kind of walks up a staircase before you, opening a door, and kind of just gestures you inward and says, I have other business to attend to, but you should find Argenus in here.
Sure, thank you.
And he heads on out, and he actually, let me see here. What does Anakim know? Does he know the spell I want him to know in order to do this? Yes, he do. He disappears.
Dude, Nani?
And you just kind of hear a voice kind of giggling as it recedes into the distance. So you step into the room and you find a familiar sight. There's a kind of an array of laboratory tables with various like thick tomes upon them. Some have beakers and mismatched parts. Some have mostly assembled kind of constructs sitting atop them. Others still have kind of like magnifying glasses and reflecting dishes, kind of focused in on small, medium, and large gemstones at different kind of levels of magnification. Various kind of material components and metals are kind of scattered throughout. In one corner, you see a kind of a smelting kiln. I don't know what they're called. Whatever. Kiln is probably close to right. And there are various students at work within the bounds of this room that you can go up and ask for more information.
Okay.
One of them you recognize because you've been here before. Actually, she was a student of Arcana, so let's go ahead and say, yeah, you still recognize the face, although you didn't like meet her last time. There's one face that sticks out to you as being familiar.
Okay. I'll walk up to them.
Okay. She turns as she hears your footsteps approaching and goes, "Oh, hello."
Hi. I'm part of Siegebreakers. That's other Siegebreakers.
Oh yes,
looking
I
for
recall your
Argenus.
last visit. Argenus.
Good.
This time of day he'd likely be in his office. If you go just down the hall, she kind of points you to a door. It's a little tricky. Don't turn the handle the way you would normally turn it. Push it inward, and then pull it down, and then turn it the opposite direction.
Punch, drop. Okay.
Yes.
I think I got it.
If you twist it normally, it will be quite painful.
Cool.
Go down that hall for a little ways, and when you reach the end, take a right, and he'll be the third door on your left.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go down the hall. Take a
All
right. Third door
So you
on my
follow
left.
her instructions and reach the office. The door is open.
Oh well, I don't have to do
and
this
Argenus
fancy handshake.
Argenus looks up and says, welcome. It's been a while, Wartok. What can I do for you?
Found a book. Thought you might be interested. Yes. It's from the Ulvari. They were like, before the whole like scouring and all that kind of stuff.
You kind of see this like look of just disbelief cross over his face. From when?
Yeah. From like when did I find it?
No, just what you just said.
Like before the scouring?
Yes, how do you...
Yeah. We met them. They said hi. They're pretty cool. One of them's probably going to come here and say hi. One of them's going to go to our base with the Trader Joe's.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah, with the trader.
Forgot about that.
Hmm.
Do you want to look at the book?
Very much so, yes. Thank you. He starts to kind of flip through it, and like you just see his eyes kind of grow wider and wider. And like you see him nodding at some things, like he understands them, and then like he flips to a section kind of close to the back, and like you just see him kind of put a hand to his forehead and go, This is decades, maybe centuries past what we figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah,
And you say
crazy stuff.
there's someone who wrote this or knew the people who wrote this who's coming here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're sending an emissary to like say what up and all that.
The things we could learn from them.
Oh yeah, I mean we teleported here from them. That was pretty cool too.
You what?
Wait. Should I have told him that? Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
did. It's fine.
Oh my, that's incredible. Do you know how? Well, I suppose they'll tell us when they get here.
Good, because I was going to answer through teleportation.
Thank you for this.
We have the theory of it down, but actually doing it ourselves is a little bit beyond us right now.
We would also
I
need
see.
a lot of
We'd need a lot of
Stuff.
magic chalk.
yeah.
What pigment?
Lapis?
Blue?
Oh, we have
That-
some of that.
Oh,
Okay. Well, then that's good.
That'll help.
Very good. Is there anything we can do for you in return? I could certainly read this until they get here. There will be more to learn than I will have time to absorb, but is there any favor we can do to repay you? I don't think I can overstate the value of such a tome. This will advance our understanding of what we do tenfold.
Good. Well, shut up, Ethan. Don't worry, Christine. I got it. I mean, I hadn't really thought of like.
That's very well.
Reward,
You have a sending stone with Anakim, yes?
Yes.
If you
Yes.
think of anything, tell him, and we'll get it done.
Okay.
Okay.
Deal. Thank you.
Of course. Thank
Sure.
you. This is this is amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Their tower just kind of like changed and stuff while we walked through it. It's
The
weird.
building itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gods
It
be
was
praised.
Largely autonomous. Machinery and magic just meshed in a perfect combination.
The
Their
holy grail of our work.
technology- Yeah, their technology is like nothing you've ever seen before.
I feel like any moment I have to wake up from this dream. This is life-changing. Wow. At any rate, you don't need to listen to me prattle on about like a school child. You must have other things to do. Is there anything we can get you before you leave?
Was there something that we needed?
No,
I don't think
he's
there's
just
anything we
being
need right
polite.
now.
I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we've got a couple more errands to run, like nearby.
Of course,
and
of course.
stuff, so
Again, if you
I'm
think
sure
of
we'll be back in
anything,
touch.
just let Anakim know. Yes. Thank you and good day.
Yeah, good day to you too. Yeah. Great. You
Oh,
know,
it
good-
is. It
good
is a very
week
good
to
day.
you.
He actually kind of like he closes the door behind you guys. Like you could see him like setting a few candles alight and like arranging some things, and he's just gonna he's gonna snuggle up with a good book for a while.
He's going to binge watch the fuck out of that book.
I'm gonna stop and stare at the handle for a second.
The handle to his office or the handle to the hallway?
No, the handle to his office the door that he just closed.
Okay, it looks completely normal.
I wanna
Investigation.
do it. I wanna yeah, I'll investigate.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
11. I'm not going to, but I want to.
Looks normal.
All right, we should probably leave before I hurt myself incredibly bad.
All
Now,
right.
as Christine, for science, but as Cyana, mild concern.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, excellent. Okay, so you exit the Luminaire Academy.
Oh, hey, stream died, or my stream died. One of those two.
Oh,
There
It was me.
were
We're good.
Investigate.
no, there were skipped frames.
Oh, okay.
We have a poor signal. It looks like. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
No.
Diagnosing.
I blame JJ. Dang.
All right, we're back. Oh my gosh, and it just happened again. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we'll hope that that's all it does. Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome back. Hopefully, if we continue to have technical difficulties, please let us know in chat, and I might take a longer intermission and actually see if one of these outlets will accept the power line adapter and go with that. We'll find out. Actually, I think they're three-pronged, so probably not, but we'll find out anyway. Alrighty, so, yes, you exit the Luminaire Academy, and you kind of, for the first time since your teleportation, you're kind of able to take in the moment, and you notice it is considerably warmer here, which you kind of expect. You went a bit further south, so sure. But it's almost beginning to get the first hints of spring in the air. The clouds are not as thickly covering. You can see sunlight across the sky. The snow is only a few inches deep, and it is beginning to melt. You can kind of see the sunlight glint off of drops of water as they fall from the branches of trees scattered across the grasslands. But once again, you find yourself kind of situated in this kind of open, wide grassland that you've become used to in this part of Erevar. Sightlines for miles, and even you can see the city in the distance as you're walking towards it. Quite a pretty day.
Question. How long
Answer.
of a walk is it?
It is about 10 miles, so call it 3 hours.
Cool. Do you remember what we talked about with circle spells that haven't been discovered yet?
It's
I have
probably
the
in my
note
character
right here.
notes.
You must spend 8 hours within a period of no more than 48 hours meditating within sight of your circle terrain to access
circle spells that haven't yet been discovered.
Yes.
I assume walking doesn't necessarily count towards that, does it?
You cannot walk and meditate at the same time, unfortunately.
What if I
Question.
carried her?
What if a giant robot carries her?
Yeah, that could work.
Sick!
But before you go into a trance,
What's
Kayana,
up?
I had a
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
You've been doing some research for some spells and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some difficult ones.
Yes.
Well, we just earned a favor with some really smart people at a college that might be able to help.
Well, the thing is, the one I'm focused on right now, I started off there and I kind of exhausted all of their resources.
We are talking
Also,
about resurrection, right?
reincarnate.
Yeah, reincarnate, sorry. You've also
Yeah.
you've reached a point where you know all of the theory behind it. There's a literal block to the spell. That's like
Yeah.
something doesn't add up yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember you saying that there was something about like transitional states, but I don't remember exactly what environments you recommended.
Dragon's Lair.
Ecozone
That
or
was something
ecotones, shorelines, those are probably the two biggest ones. But also like especially places like valleys or canyons, those would be big. Yeah, those are probably the major ones, like places of great change in climate or elevation or ecology, and like shore to land.
Go get high
Would-
out in the meadow.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just gonna
right,
go
so
take some peyote and
Let's go make some tea.
bug
out
out
of-
in a canyon.
Let's go make some tea out of peyote cactus, some peyote, if you will.
I will
And go,
not.
like-
I will.
Yeah, I will too. Honestly, I can't say no to that.
Oh, and I think I got some of that. Don't worry.
A drug-induced
Which
trance wouldn't hurt, actually, depending on the drug.
Hell yeah.
Look, I'm a druid. I'm
Shrooms.
okay with this shit.
Shrooms, they're natural.
You're a
As in-
druid traveling with Wartok.
Very
That too.
particular kind of shrooms would definitely help.
I got
Yeah.
some contacts.
That's a thing.
Okay.
So, Kaya, do you need anything? Like, I guess if we can't.
Actually, real one more quick thing
Yeah, yeah.
for Matt. Would I know if certain times of day might also be more helpful, like twilight or dusk or dawn?
They would certainly increase the efficacy of your experimentation, but well, go ahead and
It
make
wouldn't be
a
enough on its
make a
own.
nature check for me.
The witching hour.
That would be a 14 plus.
Wait, what's it called in Persona?
5. 19.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that jump you just made out of character, you would also get in character. They
Okay.
probably would not be enough on their own.
Okay. Anyway, back in.
Yes.
Well. Okay, so I guess if they can't help, is there anything I can help you get? I know the little stuff I've been I've given you has helped you with overcoming some other stuff with your abilities. So
All right, are we having bad
Oh.
frame drops? I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I'm seeing the message on the computer.
I don't know.
I just tabbed over. It looks fine, but
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it also might not be super noticeable because we're not doing like fast-paced action, so I don't know. All right. Cool.
Let's see.
Sorry,
I
continue.
guess maybe one more question for the DM. What exactly is my next step? Just casting it, or
So your next step kind of is figuring out what your next step is.
oh, okay, cool.
Yes. You're definitely at the point where like you're making attempts at casting it. Those attempts are not quite working, and so you think that going to one of these types of places and casting it would maybe give you more insight into what's wrong. You do recall specifically one of the Ulvari said you might have to have someone die in order to really,
Dibs.
really try it.
Right. He also said it might be best if I tried it out on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because if you're the caster, you would have the best
we talk about-
experience with like what's going on when you're dying.
Come back as a kobold.
No.
But they're cute.
I can't. That's not what
You
the
can
spell
come back as
entails.
Montgomery.
No.
Reincarnate?
Mhm.
Isn't that what it does?
You don't get to pick it though.
You don't get to pick, and I don't think
Yeah, but it's an
kobolds have
option.
this.
Hey DM, she could come back as Montgomery.
Oh god. Oh god.
Roll for
Anyway.
Montgomery.
Well, what you have given me for meditation has been very helpful. But I do wonder if there's something that could have, I guess, maybe a more pronounced effect, so I could think
Yeah.
more lucidly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I can ask around some people I know.
Lucid? I can do
Okay.
lucid.
You have a lot of good friends in town.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
did you?
well, you just-
So it wasn't this city that you got your contacts in, but of course they have a network that you'd have access to as well. But
I got the names of 2 traveling merchants.
yes, that's true.
I know I wrote down. They're just somewhere in my notes. Hung out with Rayla. We did something legal. Oh yeah.
I've probably got them. No, I don't. Wow. What the hell, me? That's exactly the kind of thing I would usually write down. But yeah, so you definitely have those those points of contact.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask around once we get walk around town and stuff.
Sure. Sounds good. All right. So anything else, Cyana? You're going into your trance, being carried by Clanky while you're walking back to Limna. Anything else you all want to do on the way there? No? Cool. All right. So you arrive back at Limna. It's a short walk, so it's uneventful, though you kind of get some time to sort of breathe the fresh air, take in the scenery. It's been a while since you've been around here, and it's kind of a nice change of pace. Yeah, the snow up north is pretty, but you can get sort of more features of the land around here, and you can still see the Ulvengart peaks in the north. It's very nice. It's a beautiful vista. You arrive in Limna, and you can tell a marked difference from the last time you were in the city. The folks who are milling about are more and more like common folk. You see a larger presence of what appear to be, by the fact that they're pulling carts of produce and fresh meats, etc. Farmers from the surrounding areas that have kind of come in for a day's market work or trading. And you see a good number of millers hauling lumber with large carts full of kind of milled wood ready for construction projects or any such things. And there's a pretty large presence of physical laborers in the city as well. You kind of see a lot of shops have been not overtaken, repurposed for the time being, and you can see what looks like wartime construction going on. There are siege engines being built, artillery weapons. The blacksmiths are all quite hard at work, supplying arms and armor for the war effort.
There's somebody who could use an extra arm.
Hey. Go ahead and roll a perception check, everybody.
Okay.
Should I use my fabulous die or my shiny die?
The shiny die.
Same thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's
call.
the difference?
These are the difference.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, use the
Mm.
metal die.
He already said shiny die. It's been
Yep.
done.
Okay, next
And
time is the
19.
one that's gonna make that loud chunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all love the chonk.
I gotta
Oh,
get that
yeah.
one out.
It's true, we do.
That's why you like me as your DM, right?
Oh, word.
Yes.
I mean, also
That-
like the DMing and stuff too, or whatever.
What?
But,
No.
what?
So 19 from Illiya, Cyana, Wartok, Jeff.
17.
Okay.
Yeah, I had 13.
I
Oh,
had 19.
oh,
I
you
had,
said 19.
25.
Jesus!
Holy
That
crap.
third eye.
Yeah.
Jeff is on
Calm
fucking
down.
high alert.
All right. Jeff,
Once
your
it's
third
spicy.
eye sees all,
Good
and
as usual.
it is
No.
unmistakable to you. You notice that the presence of the nobles who had been speaking out against Nair is
Oh yeah, fuck those
markedly
guys.
reduced. The nobles who were part of the Blue Rose have been quieted, shall we say. They're all still like
Good.
alive, and like you could see their houses on Valar's Rise still. But like there's not as much activity going in and out of their houses as there are to others. And like you don't notice anybody in the kind of signature dress that they would wear around town.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, are you going straight to Valar's Rise and the what's it called? The hold they're on. I think it was crap. Orsin's hold, Orsin's manor.
Oh yeah.
Castell Orsin. Castell Orsin.
Oh my god. We're never gonna be free of that man.
It's spelled differently, I think.
I think it is spelled differently, but the point still stands. We're never
Yeah.
going to be free of that man.
Yeah. Anyway, Castell Orsin would likely be your destination if you're going straight to Nair, but there are other things to do in Limna as well. What is it you'd like to do? Do you all recall the map, or should I resend it? I should probably
you could
resend
resend
it.
it.
There's almost no way the answer to that question would have been yes. I don't even know why
Well,
I
I
asked.
have
somebody
a
wasn't
vague
here with
recollection
us.
because it was like and there's stuff here and there's stuff here and there was a thing here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the main thing was here, but reverse everything,
Yep. No, that's precisely it. How did you?
See?
Damn, that's a good memory.
right? God, I'm great. It's all the
I'm what
drugs.
kids
I mean,
call new in town.
while he's finding that, so I guess we might as well go find Nair first and check in with all that, deal with that, and then we can, hashtag girls night.
Ah.
I need to find some stuff for you, Cyana.
Okay.
Why do you
Illiya,
think
do
it won't
you
copy?
use anything like for like communing with the gods or whatever?
No, but
Would you like to?
no, thank you. I don't care.
There we go. That should have said.
I don't care what other people choose to do with their bodies, but I prefer to keep mine free of such extracurriculars.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Let me real quick
Um,
show the map to the people. See how much this breaks everything.
Was there anything that we can
Doesn't
look
actually
for while we're
break
here
that badly.
for you?
We're
We
just
can ask
gonna-
around about like
We're just
father
gonna,
and whatnot.
just gonna
That would be excellent.
Do that then. I'll talk to my contacts. They know a lot of seedy people. I mean, they know. Yeah.
What talk?
Yeah.
Relax.
I'm very much always relaxed. We're good. This helps.
It's whatever. I'm chill. You can call me Philadelphia.
Oh my god.
And Jeff, I bet we can find a bunch of really good spices here.
Oh yeah.
Suppose so.
Spice up our road cooking. But yeah, I agree. I think we should tell Nair first. That seems like a really high priority, and then we can do our
And then we can,
extra stuff later.
yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
not
that's the
like
win.
people's lives aren't on the line when it comes to us shopping. So,
I mean, I guess. Oh. I guess. Do we? What else? What else do we? So I guess while we're heading to Nair, what else do we? Do we need to do anything else while we're here? We're gonna get some spices. We're gonna get some spices. Um. We're gonna ask around about a daddy. Is there anything else we need to do? While
Please word it differently.
We're gonna talk to people about a daddy.
Try again.
We're gonna interrogate people about my daddy. Your daddy. Sorry, habit.
You get one more rebate.
Your father.
Thank you.
Nailed
First try.
it. Every time.
Did you want to ask people about your friend? You had a vision about her recently, right? In a
I did.
caravan?
I don't have much to go on, but I suppose I should ask around.
The worst they can say is
Yeah.
no.
That's probably it. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be fine. It's fine. I'll stand up a little bit more and you can see my head.
Are we able
Like-
to reverse that maybe? Put our heads back where they're supposed to and then put the...
I mean, not for nothing.
Not for nothing.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. The other half is lasers. I mean, that's what I just did.
I heard
so
laziness before I heard lasers.
These are all better than lasers. So I mean, all right. Well, let's go talk to Nair.
Let's go talk to Nair.
Like it. I don't like it.
It's okay.
Oh wait.
Wow, that's a long ways.
Yep. Yep. It's really flat all the way down there. Yep.
It's okay. We're here. It's okay. We're not gonna let you fall.
Are we there yet? Oh, thank God. I'm Wartok.
They're the
Hi.
Siegebreakers.
Oh yeah, that. Okay. Boop.
Thank you.
It's us. Yep. And then we came
Yeah.
back. Guess how we came back? Take a guess.
Close.
Close. Yeah. We
Give it another
teleported.
guess.
Oh, I mean, give it another guess. Ooh,
We could
really
have.
close. That's the other guys, though.
2.
I know. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And an actual dragon.
Yeah.
That too.
Oh, I said hi to him. He was very nice. He was just super. Oh, yeah. No, they're great. Yeah. If you've ever seen one, just say hi. They're pretty cool. Pretty chill guys.
Well, wait a
Well,
minute.
maybe not all
What?
of them.
Oh,
This
well,
was a very sociable one. Not the feral and hungry kind.
he was pretty hungry. But Jeff's a great cook.
Oh, what's
Thank you,
up?
JJ. Wow, that was awful. I had no audio for a while,
Uh-oh.
Oof, rip.
so that's good.
Get an F in the chat.
They're at Velar's Rise now, and one of the guards has gone in to fetch Nair, and the other one is kind of
Fangirling.
fangirling, fawning over the Siegebreakers.
We're not hot shit. Don't worry.
Yeah, we are. I
You're
mean,
hot shit to him.
compared to, like, another adventurer group, kind of the best.
God damn it. I hate you, Dell. Yeah, never sponsor us. I don't want your sponsorship.
Suck it, Del. Get wrecked.
But like if Dell wanted to sponsor us.
No.
Yeah, but
absolutely
like,
not.
if you sponsor us, then you still suck, but you're giving us money.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. Sure. Yeah, you can give us money.
In
We're
which
just not
case, Dells are awesome.
No, they still suck.
No,
Suck
Burn
it.
that bridge and repair it.
We take the John Oliver approach.
I don't know what that approach is.
Go on.
So his HBO's parent company is Verizon, and in basically all of his segments last year, he would do a little Verizon dig and be like, "What she gonna do? What she gonna do?"
Nice.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Kind of like the anti-ads that Sam runs for D&D Beyond.
A little bit worse than that.
Yeah, it's fair. Like, not outright like his aren't outright negative.
Yeah.
They're just ridiculous, and then also
It's-
somehow
yeah.
affiliated with them. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway. So as the second guard is asking you about teleporting, the first guard comes back out and says, "Nair is just finishing up. If you'll follow me, he'll be ready by the time we arrive at his chamber."
Okay.
So he opens the door wide and leads the group of you in. The audience chamber is relatively close to the entrance. There's kind of a grand foyer where you're accepted into the castle, and then back through one doorway where there's kind of a receiving room, like a waiting room that's kind of benches and chairs mostly. There's another like large ornate double door that opening through that leads into the audience chamber where you see Nair once again sitting at that. It's not quite a throne, but that's basically the word for it. On an elevated dais, this large ornate chair / throne, set up above kind of the rest of the room. He's sitting in it a little bit more comfortably now, though. Like it feels like it's beginning to suit him. He still very much looks like him and has his same sort of mannerisms, but he's taking this role a little bit more in stride. He's a little bit more adapted to it now, and you can tell just by kind of the comfort of his posture. And as you come in, he stands and he kind of welcomes you with open arms, and he says, "Oh, what was his voice? Oh, my friends! What a treat for my eyes you are. It's been a long time. You must have tales to tell, news to report." he steps down from the dais and kind of walks over to the group of you, and just like open arm just hugs each one of you in turn. He kind of
And
pauses
Illiya's
at
just
you,
like-
Illiya, because
like-
he's like, "We haven't met yet, have we?
I'm afraid not.
My name is Nair."
I'm Illiya.
He shakes your
pretty
hand, if you offer it in return, that is.
Of course.
I'm not going to force that on you. So he shakes your
Shut
hand
up.
and says, "You're in excellent company. These folks have done more for me than I could ever admit. Even if I professed their help for the rest of my life, I couldn't do it justice."
Aw, that's very kind of you.
I know what was kind was what you've done for me. But please, tell me, what have you learned?
Oh God, where do we even start?
Well, actually, let me see. That's nope. Okay. He does not notice the bracelet on Wartok's hand. Let's start with just where you've been. Where did you go?
Slowly turns to the rest of the party.
um,
Last we
well,
spoke, you were leaving for for the north, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we did.
went into the Ulvengart range
Hmm.
and found the ruins that were up north.
The winter, did it give you much trouble on your pass through the mountains?
Eh,
Not after we met with the Ulvari. It was pretty fine at that point.
The Ulvari, who are they?
What? Oh, just our friend.
Hmm.
They're like they were guarding this from before the scouring.
A bracelet.
Well, I mean it's this, and then I'm gonna summon Squidward.
Wow, that is incredible. You said from before the scouring, so is this one of the relics that Pentrim has has asked you to search for?
Yep.
yeah.
Excellent. So that's 2 down then? 3?
2.
Two.
2 for us.
For you. Ah, yes.
Well-
We think Darren has one as well.
Yes, actually, I think we know he has one now
Yeah.
after the
Pretty darn
radar
sure.
reading.
Yeah, you do. He doesn't know for sure, but you do.
Yeah, we can confirm that Darren does in fact have one now.
You'll have to be careful then. I'll make sure to send news of that confirmation to our king. But, so, from before the scouring, and they were alive. People
Oh,
who...
yeah.
Did they remember?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
How?
It
Um,
was, I believe, explained to be magic of some sort that prevented them from aging. Or rather, maybe it affected time.
I recall rumors of people going there and going mad or not returning. Did it have to do with that?
Yeah, sort of. A couple of
Sort
them
of.
were kind of protective of the whole artifact to like kill gods or stop gods or whatever, you know.
I would imagine if you had something that precious.
Yeah.
They had tests that you had to pass in order to obtain it.
Kind of a prove yourself worthy sort of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
You-
I suppose you were worthy.
Yes.
Yeah. As a group.
Somehow.
Where is Shadra?
She went to go take care of her parents, so she's not with us anymore.
I see. Well, that is sad. I'm glad that she's doing what she feels is right, I suppose.
Yeah.
I know she was very worried about them.
Yeah. Colm is also on, I guess, what would best be described as a sacred journey right now.
Well,
But you're still here, Jeff, right?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
he kind of
Yeah,
looks
Colm
at the
and
third
Shadra
eye.
have-
It's like, huh. Doesn't say anything.
I'm not gonna say anything either. Then.
Yeah.
I notice, and I'm just like,
Just yeah.
Colm and Shader have left to pursue their own missions for the time being, but perhaps we'll see them again one day.
Indeed, that would be good. But no matter your numbers and what exactly makes your group up, who's in it, you're still you. And as long as the Siegebreakers exist, the people will have heart. You're something of an inspiration. Tales of what you all do, they run through the ranks of at least the soldiers that come through here.
well, so that is one of the main reasons we've come to see you.
Hmm.
Tales about us don't just trickle down through the Aravari army.
No?
We encountered defectors from Dane.
Defectors.
Yeah, sorry,
Interesting.
defectors.
Where was this?
While we were up north with the Ulvari, a smallish detachment, about 180 or so in number.
80.
Couple dragon riders with them as well.
They sent
They came to
dragons.
the Ulvari stronghold and more or less just threw themselves at our mercy. Apparently not everyone in Dane agrees with what the king's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. We might be able to use that. Although, it makes sense. There was a town, well, a city, Estium. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's in the coastal duchy. It was one of the first cities to fall during the initial invasion, but a little less than 2 weeks ago? Yes, a week and a half or so. The army was able to retake it. There wasn't much resistance at all, and once the troops broke through the wall, the Danish soldiers submitted immediately. Didn't seem like they had much will to fight.
Oh.
So maybe maybe this is becoming a larger movement.
That's what they did indicate. They told us that. Oh my God, hardly know. There's some rumors about what the king is doing that's spreading through the ranks quickly, and it's disheartening what sounds like quite a few of the troops.
That's good. We should press that advantage while we have it. I'll make sure Pension knows of this as well. If it's really as widespread as it sounds, then that could tip the scales.
We decided to extend amnesty to the 80-some people, and what was it? There was an island?
Yeah. An island in an unnamed lake on the way to Sedgefort, a little past the Highwind Steppes.
Because Cyana hasn't been there.
Yeah. An island where...
Wartok, you might know better.
Sorry, I was distracted by what island? The island with the my friend?
Yeah.
That way?
I'm sorry, what is the significance of the island?
What are we looking for? Oh,
So the Danish defectors that threw themselves at our mercy. Well, there's an island close-ish to here, right?
It's a few days away, but it's closer to Agrila than it is to here for sure.
Yeah, there's a island some distance away with some ruins on it that we were thinking about refurbishing and using as a kind of base because all the Danish defectors ended up pledging their swords to us, more or less, and we need some place to keep them all.
Swords
this
and
is-
dragon.
So this is also kind of a notice to, if you see those guys, they're friends. Don't hurt them.
Okay.
They're traveling with an Ulvari, so that's how you'll know it's them and not just some random other.
Are the Ulvari distinctive?
They're about
Quite large.
yay tall. Have like stuff on them.
Goliaths.
Really
Yeah,
smart.
Yes.
they're pretty much all Goliaths. Yeah.
Those are quite rare in these days.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
There's at least 20 of them. It is
Interesting.
20, right? I'm not just pulling the number out my ass.
It's about 20.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Thanks.
Well, we'll certainly keep an eye out. You can rest assured that we won't attack them. So they'll be heading, it sounds like, somewhat far to the west of here.
Yeah.
Okay, I will try and send a small detachment of soldiers to make sure that they bear my mark and will be given safe passage no matter where in Erevar they go.
that'd be good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. And, well, that'll actually make some things a little bit easier.
Oh, actually, we should tell you the name of their commander. The man's name is Felwyn.
Felvin, okay. All right, I will make sure to invest him with safe passage. And speaking of investiture, it is well that you've found a bit of a castle for yourselves, even if it is at present a ruin. It's not official yet. There's a little bit more that needs to be decided, but King Pentrim wishes to invest the group of you with noble titles, and that would come with a grant of land. You've kind of taken care of that for us. You'll be given the island and some of the surrounding lands as a reward for your help to the country in this time of war. The proper ceremony will have to wait a little while, but feel free to. Let's see. I think we can spare about 1,000 gold and maybe 24 laborers in order to assist with the construction of the stronghold you're repairing.
Wow.
If that would be amenable to you.
Certainly. I wasn't expecting this.
We already sent them with like 5,000, I
5,000?
think. So like more would be better, I guess.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I'm
It
sorry we
would-
don't
it
have
would-
more
it
to
would be
spare,
good.
but it
It would
sounds
be
like
good to
you
get
have,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I guess it would be good to get the place fixed up faster so it's more easily defensible.
Quick out of character. More money does not necessarily mean faster. There's a bit of a diminishing returns when it comes to employing more people. Kind of a too many cooks in the kitchen situation.
No, that's fine. I'll just buy the DLC that lets me win faster.
But effectively, the rules kind of assume optimal work. It's less time because you're repairing a ruin and not going from scratch, but there will still be a significant time investment.
Fair. Yeah.
At the very least, it means that
But you
they'll be
can,
fed properly.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
can also, like, with that money, you could raise another unit or two and pay them their upkeep for quite a while. You know, like, this can help you build out more things. Or, I believe the gold we talked about was just for a keep. You could put that money towards the beginning of construction for adding a second thing to it. To kind of give like a brief overview, you have keeps, which are like military strongholds. You have establishments, which are good for like bards or rogues, which are good for like gathering information, that kind of thing. Temples for the clergy. A wizard's tower, a druid's grove, which is kind of a variation on the tower or something similar to it, but it gives its own kind of benefits. I think
Let's make Skyhold.
I think the Warlock's Fane is what it's called in the rule set, and that's pretty cool too. Kind of gives boosts. So like each class kind of has its own stronghold associated with it, but they all kind of fall under those categories, just with variations on them.
How much is it to add on
It's
those
nothing.
in general?
So it is the regular cost plus another 30%, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's how the rules are written, and the rules are apparently downstairs. I do believe it's another. Which one would you be interested in? The keep is the most expensive at 5,000 starting, which is what you all were going to begin with.
Right. But does the half because it's ruined take into effect when we're talking about the extras?
Yes,
it's
but
30%?
it would be 2,500 would be your actual starting, and then I think another one would be, I think the Fane is like 3,000 gold or something like that, which would drop to 1,500. But then there's a 10% increase per level, so you'd be first level, so it'd be 2,500 plus 1,500 is 4,000 plus, so it'd be 4,400 gold
Whoa.
to do both.
So we just got enough to, I think, we just got enough to do the keep since we're doing a refurbishment
Mhm.
and one extra thing.
Pretty much.
So
Throne room.
just one swank throne
Yeah.
room.
We'll do it
I'm
like
in-
Narnia
I'm in
style, where
favor
there's
of
like
a
the four.
Yeah.
Can we uproot all the grass and cover it with astroturf, please? Thank you.
No.
No.
Listen,
just
I
no.
may be the new guy here, but if I'm gonna throw my hat into the ring, I might as well throw the whole damn wig. So let's
Catch
make
my wig.
Skyhold. Yeah, wig.
By the way, it's
Make Skyhold.
it's a monk's monastery.
On the ocean.
That's the monks get monasteries.
The true monk does not care about material possessions, Matt.
The monastery doesn't have to be a thing. It can just be
Wow.
a sanctified
It
place.
exists in
Ideal.
mine?
I know. The true monastery is their heart. They don't need a building.
Anyway, they might not need one, but it
land.
certainly helps
It's
to
just-
attract followers.
It's just sectioned off by like chalk.
It's just a giant area of nothing. This is our monastery.
It's just a
Police tape.
scar on the land. It's like, Jesus, man, what are you a monk of? The path of fuck you.
No, but let's make Skyhold and like make it not in the mountains, but on an island, and then have a
Okay.
mercenary group.
I come from the best monastic tradition, way of the pop.
Nice.
If we're making a skyhold, can I request that we have a part like in the water or something that's not
Well, that's what I'm saying.
like up here?
We have it on the island, right? So it's not up in the
Right.
mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not like really
What I'm
tall
saying
and
is,
high.
I like the layout of Skyhold.
Mm-hmm.
Just with all those annoying, like, Heidi bits.
At any rate, though,
Oh, yeah, wow,
so
right,
hopefully
we're
this
doing
helps.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
More than you can. Yeah.
well, you've done the country a great service. So honestly, it's kind of the least we can do. Truth be told, if it weren't wartime, you would have been elevated to nobility quite some time ago. But
Oh.
since you've been doing so much, Pentrim himself considers you close confidants. That goes a long way in this country.
So I don't mean to derail us again,
A single tear.
but I really love, but I also feel like the biggest asshole. I just kind of showed up, and now I'm getting like grouped in on this the payout, you know? Hey there, girl that just showed up. I know you're a sister in a cloister, but how do you feel about becoming a noble? Sure.
You're one of us. Don't worry about it.
The whole time,
One of
One
us.
of us.
the whole time, Illiya's just looking around like Chris Fleming when he's like pantomiming, being like panicked and confused. There's just
Oh, there is a bit more relevant information that might help you to know.
Okay.
I've heard some whispers lately. Dane has been making some interesting strategic maneuvers. If you've encountered some of their soldiers, you might know that the front has been a standstill for a while.
Yes.
They haven't been pushing much to take more ground. They've been mostly holding on to what they have, a few towns here and there have been lost or gained, and as I told you, we retook Essium. But some of our scouts have told us that Dane is moving troops inward, back into the heartland of their country. They've also moved a good body of troops to the border near Karad, in the Great Darren Delta to the southeast. They've also moved some to the western border, near Eaglin, on the Scairn Mountains. I'm not entirely sure what their goals are with this.
They're
We
going
haven't
for the
been able to.
artifacts.
Yeah, you think they're fanning out looking for these things?
Yeah.
I suppose they must be, but I don't know if we haven't been able to tell if they've found them or if they're just broadening their search.
They're probably just broadening their search right now.
We could hope.
Yeah, let's hope. Most of the artifacts that don't lie within Dane have already been claimed. So they're probably trying to cut their losses and find as many as they possibly can right now.
I see.
That's really the only way that a kind of move like this makes sense.
I hope they haven't found something and that they are just broadening their search. But either way, I think that's correct. They're certainly looking for the weapons. Is it true that most have been found, though? You said you have 2. The other group has...
north, the ones outside of Dane, I suppose the ones in Erevar, we have 2, and we know that there's...
So Eaglin might be their next trip.
Are they at war with Eaglin?
Not as yet. Perhaps we should dispatch some emissaries and make sure that they're prepared for that eventuality.
Yeah, imagine if they go waltzing around Eaglin looking for these things. They're not going to take too kindly to that.
So far, at least to our reports, they haven't crossed the border.
It's only a matter of time.
I would agree. Nope, too far. Close enough. Well, I'm very intrigued about these Ulvari, though. So they are Goliath from before the Scouring, who remember their lives and are coming down to escort your new warriors to the castle on Traitor Joe's. Okay.
Yep.
The Traitor Joe's to the castle on that lake in the near the Highwind Steps.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else I should know about them? Are they friendly to us or just to you?
Yeah.
Is it?
No,
They're gonna send somebody like nearby. They'll,
yeah, the
focus babies.
The Danish soldiers heading this. Well, the Danish defectors heading this way. They'll be a representative of the Ulvari, and I'm sure he'll be very interested to see what's going on in the world since they've shut themselves away, I suppose.
I'm sure they will, and we'll be very fascinated to learn from them as well. I would imagine, well, the hints we see of the technology from before the Scouring, I would imagine they would have some inventions that could tip the tide of the war. Turn the tide of the war, mixing my...
Yeah.
They got some crazy stuff.
I see.
I couldn't even begin to tell you how it works. My brain would ooze out my ears before I finished, but they got some crazy stuff.
I get the sense mine would too, but that's why we have the book learned folks around to help us with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I look forward to meeting one of them.
One of the book learned folks? Yeah, me too. That sounds nice.
Yes, but also one of the Ulvari.
Oh yeah, no, they're cool too.
Maybe this war could be over more quickly than I imagined. That would be well.
What you think about?
Just that I don't like war very much.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And with the, I wouldn't call it attrition, but with the stalemate that's been going on in the eastern front of the war, it seems like that kind of thing could last for quite a while. But
Yeah.
if we find something that could turn the tides, perhaps we can push them back to their own country. Once they're there, if we don't push any further, which I don't think Pentram would. He's not one for empire building. If we just push them back into their own land, perhaps we can call it an end.
Yeah. The way it was explained to us, the call to war was meant to be. It was based on the differences between the two countries,
Hmm.
and especially, well, we're not going to win the nobility over, I feel, but the common folk, if we can extend to them camaraderie and understanding.
The common folk of Dane.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, that's not so much my front, but I can talk to Kersha and some of the others who I know who are more in that line of business and see if they have any ideas.
Yeah, just if we're going to combat divisiveness, an olive branch I feel like would be the best approach.
Very possibly. Well, this has been a very illuminating conversation. They always seem to be with you guys. That's why I'm very glad I know you.
Yeah, we got such crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. More so than anyone I've ever met.
It's for the best.
So, where are you going from here?
That's a good question.
Are you going to
Downstairs.
go oversee your the construction of your castle? Go after the next relic? Do you have a lead? Do you know where one might be, or another annulus?
That's kind of, I guess, what we're trying to figure out. What? What was it? The guy at the academy wanted to study the annulus, and that was going to take like 2 to 3 days.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were gonna stick around for a couple days, and then we were gonna.
Yeah, we have some more business at the magic school. Yeah. But I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do once we're down there.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
find
play
the
it by ear.
head out for the next relic, probably, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think
if
we want to.
if it's deep in Dane, then we might need to rethink things. but
Wait.
if it's the nearby one, then
They seem to be all over. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. There was one in the coastal duchy that we saw on the radar.
Yeah, but that one is the one that you suspect is Darren's.
Oh.
Yeah, because of the placement, like that seems to be the where the war is where that one's pointing.
Probably would not do to go wandering into there.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I really thought that was clear. My bad.
Sorry, so I interpreted it as the one that Darren had was the one that was west of the indigo wood that is no longer there. Okay, so he has 2.
West of the indigo wood? Wait, which one are you talking about?
Vindex. Now this is information I know out of character, but
Say it again. Sorry, I missed what you said.
Just gotta
Vindex.
help those play along at home.
Yeah, thank you. Can you give me a more precise location? Because that's not lining up with what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Hold up. DM you.
Which one?
Furlius. The gauntlet.
Oh, the gauntlet's still there.
Is it? It doesn't show up on the radar.
Did I fuck up?
Maybe.
Yeah, because on the radar, that one isn't there anymore.
Oh, go ram it. I'm an idiot. I pointed to the one that's going ugh.
Do we need to retcon?
Just the map, I think. I think I literally just missed it because I was looking for the stars on the map and I just overlooked the white gauntlet. Crud.
We get another F in the chat.
Alright, so yeah, that one's there. That's that. That's that. There's 3, yes, yes. Yeah, so there should just be one more line on there is all it is. And that line should be going almost straight down from the epicenter and ending on the coastline. That is my bad. There should totally be one more there.
Okay.
So then you have the one that's kind of up north. Nick, do you wanna put it up to your camera again? So you've got the one that's kind of up in the northwest on that island.
Yes.
Then you've got the 3 in Eaglin, one kind of at the coastline in the north, then one in the bay, and then one in the middle of the country. Then
Plus
you have the
wherever
one in...
the Keepers of Fate are.
Right, so there's 2 wherever the Keepers of Fate are, and then there's the one in the southeast of Dane. The one that is missing is like directly south of where all the lines converge on the coastline, like at the very bottom of Dane. And then you have the one in the coastal duchy, which is Hephaleios, which is the one that Darren has.
Understood.
Sorry about that. I totally just overlooked the gauntlet when I was looking at my own damn map. Alright.
You good.
Okay, so maybe we don't go for that one.
Yeah, that'll be a bad
Or
idea.
we could.
I mean, you guys can. It's not behind a level wall or anything. You just might die.
We might fucking die.
I'm just saying, what's
It's
stopping
only
us?
a whole army.
You and one army.
A whole
This
whole army. Yeah, a literal army. That's
What if we
what's
just
stopping you.
waited? What if we just waited until Wartok was a high enough level to simultaneously cast Fly and Invisible on all of us?
Then you'd probably be high enough level to fight him anyway, so go for it.
Oh, damn it. All right, one of...
Also, you'd probably be
I can-
cheating
I can-
because there's about concentration spells.
Okay,
Listen,
I'll
I
take
can cast
Invisible on the next
invisibility.
level up.
All right.
See?
I already have it.
We just fly over the entire army and stab him.
Make Clanky invisible and he just fucking drops on his head.
Yeah! Oh my god!
Speedrun
The
stat
seniors are
strats.
smart!
Bitch won't even see it coming.
Yeah, because they'll be invisible! Girl, you're a genius.
Currents of Chaos, AGDQ.
What up, Thursday group? I'm the new wild
Nick,
card.
Nick, you're muted.
Sorry, you know my plan, and invisibility and fly just made it better.
Yes.
Wait, what's your plan?
Should I
Secret.
tell him?
I don't know.
Like,
It's
give
up
a
to you.
secret.
It's your plan.
You could DM me. And I could DM her. Or you could DM her.
Okay,
You can DM both of us,
I'll
middleman.
DM you. You'll
Slide
tell me
into
what I
those
say, and
DMs.
we'll go from there.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Um,
Nair is asking where y'all
anyways.
are going
so, okay. Now with
that new information.
With that cleared up, I don't know. I suppose I don't know. I don't want to be too selfish, but the artifact that lies in the indigo wood, I wanna
Well,
make sure that one's safe.
It seems that, if I may, before you go after it, shouldn't you find the annulus?
Well, yeah.
And to do that, well, you said you had lent it to Anakim at the Luminaire Academy. So see if he has any insight, I suppose. Stay here for a couple of days until he's done looking over it. Once you have that information, maybe it will help you find that annulus. If not, well, there are a few good libraries, and I'm sure some of them have to have some information about these artifacts. It's, even if it's not well-known knowledge, even if the person who found it didn't know what it was or what it might be for, they're probably somewhere. Or, you know, if that fails, if there's no mortal knowledge, you, Illiya, you're a woman of the cloth, yes?
I am.
Your god could perhaps help you in a time like this. There are always ways.
See.
I'm sorry I can't be more concrete help, just kind of throwing ideas out there, but you'll need
No,
the
it's a good
annulus
one.
first to be sure.
Yeah, you're fine.
Well, certainly, while you're in Limna, you're welcome to stay at any of the rooms in Castell Orsin. Should you choose an inn, you can also stay there, of course, but I certainly wouldn't say no to your company.
Very kind of you, thank you.
Yeah.
Of course, the least I can do. And, should any of you need anything from within the city, most of the artisans are somewhat hard at work, preparing things for the war effort. Many of them are not taking other orders at present, but if there's anything you require, let me know, and I will make sure to get you what you need. They will make time if I ask them to.
Okay.
Okay.
He looks awkwardly at you. Is there anything else? I do have a few more folks that I need to hear today.
That's fair. You're kind of busy.
No, we have our own business, and you obviously have your own. So
Very good. Well, let me know if you decide to stay here. I'll have rooms prepared.
yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get them they'll be ready by the time you arrive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. And good day to you. Thank you again for everything you do. He steps back up on the dais and assumes his position back in the seat. The guard has been kind of patiently waiting at the door to the audience chamber and escorts you back outside, closing the large double doors to the castle behind you as he leaves with you. The second guard says, yeah, sure, what the fuck. Can I come with you guys? Just for like a day? Sorry, that was silly of me. Of course not. No, forget it. It's fine.
Just like walking around, or like.
Yeah, just to see what it's
we don't
like.
have anything
But
special.
no,
planned.
it's fine.
Like we're not gonna go break any siege. There's no sieges to break.
That's fair.
Probably not gonna be any murder. I'm just gonna go get some drugs. If you want to come along for that, you can.
That sounds fine. No, you guys go ahead. I'll stay here. I probably
Alright, yeah.
shouldn't leave my post anyway. The other guard is just like, what the hell, man?
You know what? Here's some taffy, buddy. Here's some taffy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
He's not gonna eat it. He's just gonna like hold on to it forever.
Should I have signed it for him?
Sign the wrapper.
He's like that kind of collector that buys toys and action figures and then never opens them.
Yep. Just has like a shelf full of like unopened taffy.
Taffy.
Unopened Siegebreakers, like wooden figurine.
Oh god, I don't want those to get made of us.
Oh man.
They will.
Guys, we've
Unless
invented
they
our first
capture-
weeaboo.
Unless they capture.
Oh my god,
it.
Matt!
Wartok, you have invented the weeb. in the
Sick.
D&D world. You have invented weebs. How do you feel about this?
Oh, pretty great. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Excellent. All right. So now that we
What
have
have we
weebs in the
done?
world,
Oh, man.
all right. So what do y'all want to do in the city while you're awaiting? Well, okay. Are you going to await the completion of Anakim's research into the annulus? I shouldn't assume.
We probably should because it'll probably be useful.
Yeah.
It
Agreed.
could help give us some direction to what we need to do next. I guess in the interim, we can just chill in town for a bit.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, you guys, let's go shopping.
Let's we can do some shopping.
Woo, shopping day. All right. So to remind you, the stores that you had visited before in Limna. There was, of course, Colm's Curiosities, which was kind of the super cool one. The Sauntering Satyr was a tavern you'd been to once or twice, as was the Dancing Eagle, which was kind of the nicer one. There was a jewelry store called Saphiel's Sapphires.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the big ones that you had been to. There are certainly other stores in this quite large city.
Is there a magic items shop?
Colm's Curiosities.
Colm's Curiosities. Oh,
All
Illiya,
right.
you haven't met Colm.
I haven't.
We should go
We
meet
should go
Colm.
meet
He's
him.
really
He's
fun.
great.
Yeah. Let's go to Colm.
All
Okay.
right. You head over to the part of the market district where you know Colm's Curiosities is located. And you walk inside, and Colm is currently not at the counter. There is a... what do I want him to be? A small, like a shorter statured half-elf woman standing behind the counter who kind of... she's sort of busying herself with organizing a few things, and as she hears the door creak open, she kind of perks up immediately and says, "Oh, hello? Welcome
Hi.
to Colm's Curiosities. I am not Colm.
Yep, that's correct.
How can I help you?
Is Colm not around today?
He's here. He's in the back working on a few items.
See, like, we kind of just want to say hi, see what he's up to, see if he's got anything like new special. We were around here once before.
Oh, so
Wartok,
you know him.
Siegebreakers.
Yeah, we
all that.
shopped here before.
As you're saying this,
I assume Clanky's there too. I'm just gonna point at him.
yeah. You actually, like, as you're saying, like, oh, it's Wartok and the Siegebreakers, you hear from the back room, and
Oh!
you hear the heavy footfalls of... He was orcish, right, or half orc?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's a
not
half-orc.
wrong.
Yeah,
He was
you
a
hear
half-orc
the heavy
punchable.
footfalls of the half-orc Colm kind of pounding out and going, "Welcome! It's been a while."
Everybody. Yeah.
Dude, good to see you again.
And you?
We made a new friend.
Hello.
Why did I give him a weirdly English voice instead of his normal country accent? I don't know. Well,
Country.
what can I do for you? I mean, it's... Gosh, how's Clanky doing?
It's great. He's actually got a couple more improvements too. We talked took
Really?
we met some people.
Could I see?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Clanky.
amazing.
He fits through the door, right? He went in here before, I think.
He can kind of crouch, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, hold on. I need to like mute for a second and do like a country thing because I'm not getting the
okay.
accent. It's been too long since I've been to Virginia, guys. Somehow.
Wait. Also, Christine, I wasn't
Yeah?
paying attention for a minute, and I looked over and just saw the ice pack on your head and just about died.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
My head
I
hurts.
don't know why, but I thought you were like trying to balance a bento box on your head.
Yeah.
Aw,
So,
what did
do you have a headache, or is it just like general, like, do you hit
Headache,
yourself?
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I hope you feel better.
It's
I hope
okay.
it alleviates.
Sick.
Um, that
Yeah,
that is
literally
really
though.
something. He goes over and he's like looking at Clanky, and he's kind of like examining, and he sees the upgrades that have been made, and he's like, that is amazing. I mean, the armor, the metal, what they've done to, I mean, that's incredible. It looks like, can I he looks at Clanky. Can I try something real quick? I don't mean to
Sure.
pry, just
I mean, don't pry anything off him, but
well, I want to see something, because
okay.
he takes a hammer and a chisel, like a small chisel, out of his belt. Like he's got like
I'm
a
gonna
tool belt.
look at Clanky real quick.
He's
Clanky
like,
seem
he
like it's
is looking at Clanky and like making sure every step of the way that it's all right.
Okay.
Clanky seems okay with this,
Alright.
and he kind of takes a couple of little taps and looks at Clanky, and Clanky's like, "All right, big fella." Clunk, and you see the chisel just puncture through the metal, and he pulls it right
Oh.
out. And he waits a moment, and he watches as the metal bends backward and kind of refuses itself together. And he says, "That's what I thought. That is damn impressive.
That's Clanky.
That's amazing. Huh. I need to figure out how to do that."
You know, on that subject, I mean, we know people. We've met people now who are incredibly adept at this.
Really?
Yeah, no, they have information from before the scouring. That's my. And
Before, wait, you
Yeah.
mean?
no, if you want to know more, one of them's gonna be going.
Hell
to help,
yeah, I do.
One of them's gonna be going to help refurbish an island of ours. You could, help them out there, and you could probably learn
Aren't they
some
also
while you're
going
there.
to Luminaire Academy?
But that's not our island.
Did,
Yeah,
so,
guys, let's recruit him.
Oh, I see.
So you did say that in
Sorry.
character, though, Cyana. So he did
Yeah.
hear this.
Yeah.
The
And
the
I
Luminaire
absolutely said
Academy
that's not our island.
is considerably closer. I'm intrigued by the island, but I'm afraid I couldn't leave on such short notice. My apprentice,
doesn't have to be right now.
Illiya, Illiya. My
Oh, this is
apprentice
bad.
Illiya. You're right, it is.
Alara.
No, let's go with
Dang,
something
I
like.
tried.
Actually,
I
I
mean,
have
Illiya's just short for Illiana.
I have names for this city anyway. I should use them.
Steve.
Steve!
Hadria. My apprentice, Hadria. Well, she's still got a lot of learning to do. I should probably stay and make sure that she can run the shop on her own, at least for a little while, before I leave her to
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
I could certainly go to the Luminaire Academy, though, and then maybe in a little while I'll come see your island.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't saying right away, but
Yeah, I'd certainly be
more than
interested.
happy to have you there.
I would love
Yeah,
to
not
see what you all are.
Short notice, maybe long notice.
Yeah.
I could do long notice. Long notice is good.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
good.
at any rate, so you might not know anything about it, but I want to show you something because I'm going to show it to them, and I'm very excited to know if they will have any idea what to do with it. And he walks away for a moment, going into the same room whence he came, and you hear the twisting of a key and like the click of a latch, and then this of a very heavy like iron chest opening, and then a very like kind of shuffling, a very like ginger shuffling of cloth, and then thunk as the chest closes, and he comes back out kind of bearing in his arms this broken looking piece of a device. It's clearly not like the whole thing, but it seems to be like a section of some larger mechanism, and he kind of clunks it down on the countertop, and he says, "I've had this since my father started teaching me his art, back when I was just a boy. And try as I might, I've spent my whole life looking for answers about it, and I can't figure out a damn thing. It's really something else. I wonder if they could take a look at it and tell me what it might be. It's definitely from before the scouring. I mean, the thing looks like it might be 1,000 years old. And as you look at it, yeah, I mean, it's like, not only does it have like rust kind of fusing some of the parts that look like they would move shut, but it's like tarnished and discolored, and it almost looks like it had, actually, make nature checks, everybody. Wartok, you can make it with advantage.
Oh,
Oh,
3.
thank you.
19.
13.
Okay.
I don't know what my nature skill is. 22.
All right, Illiya and Wartok, both of you can see pretty clear signs of saltwater damage on it.
Oh,
That'll do it.
now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would prestidigitation... No, you, Matt, the DM.
Oh.
Would
Sorry, I should have noticed you
prestidigitation-
didn't use your character voice.
No, it's okay. Would prestidigitation clean off the rust?
You're welcome to try it.
I don't want to ruin it.
Make an Arcana check for me then.
10, I think. Yeah, 10.
To the extent that it has been messed with, prestidigitation would help, but it probably wouldn't like take care of everything.
Okay.
So like it might
Wartok, so you
polish it
have
up a little bit,
prestidigitation.
but
No.
Damn.
I have mending.
With our powers combined.
Can I inspect it? Is there any writing on it?
Sure, go
Do
ahead
I
and make an
recognize it
investigation
from
check.
Anything we've seen?
Oh,
19.
There actually is some writing on it, but it's not a language. It is runic. So you can't,
Okay.
your languages thing
eyes.
only works on languages, so
Yeah.
you
sure
can't
does.
decipher the writing, but it's clearly arcane in nature. Go ahead and make a history check for me, actually.
God. There's so many checks.
Yep.
Well, it was bound to go bad at some point. 11.
Since it's so fresh in your mind, 11 is actually enough. But you just get kind of the basics. Looking at it and kind of the knowledge that it's from before the scouring, you recall the little bit about artificery that you did find out, and that sort of 3 roles: the Vesselier, the Rune Weaver, and the Rune Weaver, and the Soul Render.
Okay.
You recognize this is probably the work of a Rune Weaver, the writing on it. It is certainly intended to channel magic.
Okay.
Papa, I have magic eyes. May I
yeah,
use
well,
my detect magical eyes to see if there's magic on it?
Yeah.
Cool, I do that.
All right. It does not appear to be. Well, let me see. Let me think about this for a second. Would it itself appear magical? No, it does not appear magical.
Meanwhile, everything else in the shop lights up.
Yeah, you kind of go like a little bit blind, but this particular thing is not magical.
Okay.
It's clearly intended to be part of something magical, but it is not magical itself.
Okay, that's fair. I'm a cleric. This bores me now.
I need more God in my life.
Where's the Jesus?
Torum just kind of goes like, "Shit, that's cool, yo."
Aww.
Anyway, Colm.
Oh, Sky Daddy.
Oh.
That's why you want Skyhold.
Yeah.
Dibs on the dungeon.
Yeah.
Colm,
Hey,
are you aware this is magical? Ish, sort of. There are runes on it.
I
That's
figured
all.
as much. I couldn't
Kinda
have told you exactly what it's for.
It's just some, like, yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean that's
they
kind of the
probably
whole.
will know. Yeah, I figured that's kind of why you had it, but
Yeah.
that's really all I got. So,
Yeah, I'm hoping they could tell me more about it. I mean, it seems like they
They're
would be
pretty
able to
smart.
if they're what you say. So,
yeah.
hell, it might even be something they made. If they're from before
Yeah.
the scouring, it's from before the scouring. That's
They made a lot. They kind of conquered a lot too. They kind of
Really?
were really good at war and well,
Yeah.
it's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah,
interesting.
they're nice. They're nice people. I wouldn't worry about it.
I wasn't too worried about it until you said that.
Good. No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take your word
Okay.
for it.
Yeah.
People fight. It's what they. It's kind of what they do. But
They're really good at it.
yeah.
Really.
Well, so I mean, take a look around. I have some new stock. Wow, his voice just went super different.
Well,
Take a look
Colm,
around.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh. You just seem a little off today, Colm.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why me as the DM's voice is just like not doing it.
Hey,
It's like
it's
I'm
okay.
forgetting how to speak in my own language.
Just start singing Country Road.
Country roads.
So
Take
John
me
Denver doesn't
home
have that much of a country accent.
to
the
Don't take this away
place.
from us.
I
I
belong.
belong.
That's horrible. Well,
Anyway,
I got some new stock.
yeah.
I'd be happy to have you take a look at it. Just let me know if anything catches your fancy.
Please.
Yeah. So, is there anything specific you're looking for, Illiya?
No.
Okay.
Sorry to do this to you.
No, that's totally fine.
I had something I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So while we were walking back from the Luminaire Academy, I got to thinking
Yep.
about because I got quite a few weapons on me now, but I kind of realized that almost all of them require me to be like right next to people, and oftentimes when we're like in combat or something, I'll like draw my sword and get ready to go, and then Cayenne will put down some spikes or Wartok will put down some tentacles. I can't go anywhere.
I see what you're saying.
Sorry.
So, well, my friend Illiya recently lent me like a boomerang to try to help rectify.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Rings are the best.
I got to thinking about it on the way over to the town today. Maybe you could use some like magic stuff to make one of my other weapons like a boomerang in some ways, where like I throw it and it comes back to me.
I gotcha. Well, I got a couple things that I could show you. I could look at enchanting one of your other weapons, but well, the one I made before, Chill Mort,
Yeah.
that's got a lot to it already. I don't know if I could really add to it. What other weapons you got? I could take a look, see if any of them speak to you.
I got a lot. What's my list of weapons? Hang on a sec.
Well,
Okay.
while you're going
Breath
through
of the
them,
Wild.
let me show you what I've got around the shop that might
Sure,
do
go
you
ahead.
good. So he pulls down a couple of things. He kind of walks around the shop. He takes an axe off of one wall and kind of brings it over and lays it down on the counter. Goes over and grabs a maul and a longsword and brings both of those over as well. He picks up the axe first and he says, "This axe, this works pretty much a lot like a boomerang. You throw this and you basically think about it. There's a command word, but you don't have to say it out loud. It just it's attuned to your thoughts and you just think it and it'll come back to you right quick. So that could be very useful."
What is it again?
It's a two-handed axe.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I'd call it an axe of returning. Fans of the God of War series might call it the Leviathan axe. It doesn't deal cold damage, though. It doesn't deal cold damage, but effectively, as a bonus action, you can recall it.
It does sound handy, actually.
I think the range is 30 feet on them. It might only be 20. I don't know, one or the other.
It's still better than 5.
Yeah.
Like,
In
your
fact,
next one, 2060.
Yeah, so I think this one's probably a little bit better because magic, so let's call it 3080.
Sure.
Right on.
So then he picks up the two-handed maul, and he he kind of holds that one up, and he's like, "This one's a bit interesting. It's so it's not really you don't throw it so much as you kind of swing it, and depending on how you swing it, you can make it attack the thing right in front of you, or you can make it attack a thing a little farther away from you. It's an interesting beast. It's kind of hard to really give you a handle of it without having it demonstrated. But basically, actually, come back here for a minute. And he kind of gestures to one of the side rooms, and he walks back with it. And he sets a dummy like right in front of him. He's got like a couple of practice dummies, and then he sets one kind of back against the wall. And he does a normal like just two-handed like over-the-shoulder swing, and whacks the first dummy. And then the second time around, he does a bit of a flourish with the haft of it, and then comes around from the other side. And instead of hitting that dummy, like he stops short of it. And you see the dummy on the wall just get blasted with what looks like a strike of force that sends it kind of tumbling down onto the ground. Effectively, it has charges, and you can use the charges to send force damage to a spot within 30 feet.
Interesting.
And so it's a bit of an interesting duck, but it'll do you good.
That's a weird duck.
Odd duck.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that, and then the third, he picks up the long sword, and he says, "Now this here's got a command word much like the first one, but instead of throwing it, this one you keep in your hands, raise it skyward, and it's a Levin sword. It's the fucking Levin sword."
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
What does that one do? Oh, it
It's,
just lets you.
It sends a bolt of electric energy. You raise it to the sky, even if you're inside, still works. You raise it to the sky, lightning strikes the tip of it and gets redirected into your foe of choice.
Thunder.
Within
Thunder.
30 feet of you.
Thundercats. Oh.
I would like him to not have that one. He almost zapped me to death at one point.
How much is that one?
Wait.
This guy is. Let me decide what he should be. He should be. Let's see. Call this guy. Normally I'd say 1,200, but you're a good customer and a good friend, so I'll give you a third off. 800.
Oh no.
Let's see. I can't quite afford that.
Oh. Whew.
How much is the axe?
The axe of return will run you 550.
I could afford that, but it would clean me out.
God.
Okay, but that's a fucking sick axe, though.
I know.
It'll solve your problem.
Yeah.
Do y'all not have party gold?
I only have 557
gold.
gold.
We have clanky gold.
Ah,
We have about 650 in clanky gold, I believe.
gotcha. Shit, I
Other
thought
than
the
that, we've
other
just been
party
divvying
was
it
getting
up.
gold starved. I guess the tables have turned.
We haven't gotten that much. Well, we got 5,000 gold and then immediately spent it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And then we got 2,000 gold and immediately spent it, even though we don't know what we spent it on yet.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
fair.
mean,
Yeah, I guess unfortunately the Ulvari dungeon didn't actually yield all that much treasure. Just knowledge.
Hey, we
also,
got
like,
knowledge and friendship and an artifact and also possibly a love interest later on. I don't know how I'm feeling about that yet. But like also we got
Army.
troops. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you got
now
plenty
we
of
have a
stuff,
very
just
large
not
house.
Yeah.
treasure.
It is treasure.
Yeah, we just
Just like
didn't
friendship.
get money.
I
Yeah.
treasure it.
Treasured. Yes.
And then we got a giant sapphire. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Anyway.
have something that I know I'm gonna need to buy, but like it's
Yeah.
It'll clean me out, but it's simple.
Um,
Could I Could I roll a persuasion check to haggle a bit for the axe because he was willing to give me? Perhaps
Sure,
he would be willing to give me a discount on the axe too.
You got the sense that he was factoring that in when he said 550, but you could still roll and try and see if you can get it down a little further. What do you want to say to convince him?
What? That's a good question. What do I want to say?
You know,
500.
Jeff, Colm, we would, we try and bring you a lot of business, and we're showing these Ulvari and everything, and I think the more quit. You help us, we help you. That sort of thing. You understand? I'm trying to aid Jeff right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. We know how fine your craftsmanship is. We could put in a good word for you to the Ulvari, mention you by name. I'm sure they'd love to see what you can do, maybe even teach you some stuff.
That would be much appreciated. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Cool. Pretty good. 19.
Tell you what, I'll take off another 100 gold, and I'll toss in a potion of healing.
So 450 gold for the axe plus a potion of healing?
Yes, sir.
I'll take it.
Done deal, Jeff. Good doing business with you.
Good doing business with you too.
He wraps the axe up in a leather wrap and presents it to you, and then goes to a shelf behind the counter and kind of picks off a potion with a bright red liquid inside and passes that over to you as well.
Appreciate it. I actually need another one of those.
Any of you others want something?
What do you got?
Well, aside from those, I've got fuck you.
Shit.
So he does have a pretty good selection of potions, various colors and effects that you can see across several shelves on the back walls. He has most basic +1 weapons that you could want. Pretty much any weapon.
So,
yeah.
I have mostly no need for weapons at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can literally make anything I want.
Sure.
What do you have in the way of rings or the weird wondrous odd things?
You know what? Let me roll for a few things because that's gonna make this easier than me coming up with magic items off the top of my head and probably be better balanced.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see how this can go for.
What?
So
let's go to our old friend Don John.
So to be clear on the properties of the axe returning it, it's a battle axe.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a battle axe with the thrown property to a range of 30 to 80 feet, and I can use a bonus action to recall it to my hand.
Yep.
Cool. Sweet.
You're sweet.
No.
Hey. Gross.
Okay.
That's a little too hetero for me.
Oh.
I'm kidding, you're fine.
Hey, baby.
Wait.
Hi.
Hey.
What's the stream rated?
I don't call you baby.
It's for mature. It's fine.
She's
Alright,
got
cool.
2 hands.
See, we're asking for rings and what?
Just rings or any of the weird wondrous things that aren't a specific category. Because I don't need weapons and I already have the parapet, so I can't use amulets either.
Alright, actually Don John's is not the best for magic items, which is weird.
Yeah, no, that kind of they suck.
Don John has got a lot of really good ones, but this one's just
for magic items specifically.
Yeah, it's very rote.
Loot.
So you know what? I'm gonna grab the DMG and I'll come up with a list for you real quick.
Thank you for your service.
Of course. Gotta do the shopping days right, you know. Alrighty.
Next on the agenda, drugs.
Oh yeah.
How much gold do you have, Illiya?
Alright.
What do I have? I have 37 platinum and 72 gold.
Okay. I can aid some if we see something that's useful for you. I don't spend that much gold. I've just got a little bit of shopping to do after this, but that won't be that much gold. So
Oh, right. That reminds me. I should probably give this to you before I forget, Illiya. And I just slap a diamond in your.
What? What?
That was an
What?
interesting
Don't worry
trade.
What?
For
All right, rings.
your
I'm
revival
just gonna
spells.
stick my hands out.
Oh. Yes, but where did you get it?
Oh, I've had this for a long time.
I see. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, it's just 100 gold diamond.
Puts it away.
Yeah.
Wait, 100 gold diamond?
Yeah.
Jesus. I only needed half that.
Well, I got a chisel.
Use this for your.
Split
use
it in
this
half.
for your revive.
We'll just throw it in the air. I'll just blast it up against a wall. It'll split. Boom,
Just
done.
hold it down.
You just
Shoot it a bunch of
hold her
times.
steady.
Yeah, so you can add that to your inventory.
What was that? Yeah. Colm has cats running around. It's weird. What was that for?
So, the revival magic, it requires price paid in diamonds, and the spell that I've been working on doesn't require diamonds, it requires something else, so
Mhm.
I felt that it was best in her hands.
So it's not 50, I just looked it up.
It's 5,000.
I know, it's 300, right?
300.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so
Jesus.
this will get you part of the way there.
All right,
Where did I
so
get 50 from?
rings.
Chromatic orb?
It's probably chromatic orb.
Illiya, rings.
Yes.
There is one ring of evasion,
Oh, hell yeah.
one ring of jumping,
Mm-hmm.
one ring of where'd you go? Resistance. Actually, 3 rings of resistance, each of them different kinds. And I believe I also thought there would be a ring of warmth. Yes. So if any of those catch your fancy, that is a thing. There's also.
Oh man, the Ring of Warmth would maybe double resistant to cold damage.
Do resistances stack? I don't think they do.
No. No. It was a meme.
Yeah.
What? There's no memes allowed in this session, alright?
Well,
Yeah, we don't do that here. Let's see. There's a couple of spell scrolls. I don't know if those would be interesting to you.
Yeah, take some. She's dum-dum casters.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I could use them as like a placemat for, a dinner spread.
Don't you dare!
A really fancy, like, table mat.
Look,
Placemat. There we go.
Jeff, if you want a table mat, I know how to weave. I could just make one. There's no need to.
That was a joke. That was a joke. I couldn't afford it anyways. Money.
There is a periaptive wound closure.
Oh, I have that.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That was your gift from your daddy-o.
Yeah.
Your
Please stop
father.
calling
Sorry.
me that. Thank you.
That was
At least I added an O
There's
to
only
the
one
end of it.
daddy.
I said daddy-o. I added an O to the
You
end
said
of it.
daddy-o.
I have a father and I have a daddy. And that daddy is Sky Daddy.
Lord.
Yeah.
See,
Oh,
you get it.
okay.
You get it.
So you get it.
Okay. You got me.
There is also a cloak of billowing for sure. There's definitely a cloak of billowing because why not?
Now that's a meme item if I've ever seen one.
Right?
It's the perfect meme item, though.
And I like that. Sure. There is a vial of I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Kiotum's
Poison.
ointment.
Oil of what?
Kiotum's ointment, which has 1d4 plus 1 doses of a mixture that, when applied to the skin, recovers 2d8 plus 2 hit points and cures you of poison or disease.
Oh yeah, so that's what I based the decanter of endless aloe vera on.
Nice. Yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Okay. How much does the ring of evasion cost and the ointment?
Also, the cloak of billowing.
The cloak of billowing is 100 gold. The ointment is it's uncommon, so let's say the ointment is 170 gold. And the ring of evasion you asked about?
Yes.
250.
Okay.
Actually, no. That should be higher. That should probably be more like 400.
Well, shit, now I can't afford it.
We'll
Sorry.
take all three.
Alrighty, sounds good.
What?
He packages. He puts the ring in a 150 plus, or yeah, 170 plus 100 plus 400 is 670. 670.
You wanna chip in? Hold on, I have to do math for my money. 170.
Yeah.
All right, deal. You chip in 170. I'll chip in 500. Done.
All right.
I'll put 150 down.
Oh, you have to.
Well, okay.
Good.
Sounds good to me.
I guess. Do you want me to?
He's packaging
throw
them
in-
up as you all are
throw in
deciding
50.
on that.
Okay, sure. I'll throw in 50.
I don't use my gold much.
It's very kind of
That's
you.
fair.
I got a new cape.
what
So he
you
has the
always
cape
wanted.
put in a very fine brass chest, like this big, kind of like a shirt box that he puts forward on the counter.
I immediately open it.
The ring in a box, and the ointment in a very fine-looking gold vial.
Oh shit, it's so pretty. I'm gonna leave it in the packaging for now.
Oh, quick note: don't you obviously when you use it you gotta take it out, but don't take that ointment and put it in any other container unless it's made of gold.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure thing. All right. Well, thank you all for your business. I mean, that's an excellent day of sales right there. Anything else I can get for you?
I think I'm good, thank you.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy, and make sure to send those Ulvari my way.
We'll do. We'll definitely put in a good word with them for you.
I very
I'm
much
sure they'll love
appreciate
to
it.
meet you.
Not as much as I'll love to meet them. Oh, and you know what? Here, just as a token of my thanks, he takes a potion down from one of the racks, and this one has kind of a whitish color to it. It's a little bit cloudy, and he sets that down on the counter and says, "That is a potion of climbing. You can have that on the house."
Oh, that's kind of.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You guys are some of my best customers.
Well, we
Well, you're
really
our
love
best supplier of magical things.
I do think I'm the biggest shop this half of the country.
Yeah, you got some pretty good stuff. We look forward to what you can do once you meet with like the Ulvari and stuff, and you get even
Oh
more
man, me too.
stuff. Cool boy.
That's
That'd be
gonna be
cool.
fun.
Yeah. Just do us a favor. Save your best stuff for us at least. Like,
Save
please
your
give
money.
us first pass at the best stuff. Oh, you know it.
All right. Well, you guys, best of luck out there.
Thank you. You too. Yeah. Just
He's ecstatic and like really just like he like looks at Clanky one more time before he goes, and he just kind of like gets this glint in his eye, like I can't wait to learn how to do that.
Come on, Clanky. Let's go.
Alrighty. So what else would you all like to do? Drugs? Cool.
Yeah. So specifically, what I'm after, I need rare oils and unguents worth at least 1,000 gold.
What's this
And
for?
This is for reincarnate, and I can only assume that an apothecary would have that sort of stuff.
Apothecary would be your best bet, or an alchemist.
Let's go to the apothecary.
Do you
All
have
right.
that much money?
I
Or
do.
we're gonna have to do some secret haggling. Okay, thank God. Because I was
I
I just
have-
blew my money.
I have 1,200 gold.
Oh, sick. All right, cool. Let's go shopping.
Woo! All right. Go ahead and roll
Shopping, you
investigation.
Okay. Also,
look
did you see the names I sent you? Or sent in chat?
Not yet, but I will.
All right, let me
Now.
resend real quick.
That is a 19 plus 2, 21.
You said investigation.
Yes.
18.
Okay.
18 and a 21.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's correct. Dwarin and Pixif. Cool. Alrighty. I'll wait for Diana to get back. 18.
Oh, I'm
21.
listening.
Oh, okay. That was a horrifying voice. It came through like 3 times.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
My mic was on and mic was on.
So you
I'm
do
here.
find an apothecarist. The sign out front has the kind of telltale sort of symbols, that, like, you know, the not Erlenmeyer, whatever the decants or flasks are called. I don't recall.
Yeah, one of them is a Meyer flask. It's the one that has a very like round conical base with a.
Yeah, that's not what I'm envisioning for like an alchemist's kit, but like certainly Erlenmeyer flasks are things. But the the basic alchemist's table, literally just imported from Skyrim, like that asset just like put on a thing.
Oh yeah.
With kind of a
You
potion
lean over it
bottle in
like
the front
this.
with like little like smoke wisps rising out of it. And underneath of that sign it says Angela's Apothecary.
Yes, alliteration. I'm all for it.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
Like most of my shops have to alliterate. It's like an
Yeah,
unspoken
mine
rule.
too.
right thing.
Nobody ever points it out to me, and I feel underappreciated.
Well, thank
Hey,
you for
hey.
pointing it out.
I love you and I appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm happy about that.
But yes, so you do find an apothecary in rather short order, and Wartok, you as you're kind of asking around, trying to figure out where you go in this little bit of exploration and investigation, you throw around the names of the 2 contacts you have, and you learn that Dwarin is in fact in the kind of traveling merchants section of the market. There's a section of the market square that is laid out for kind of temporary carts and displays.
Okay. Cool.
So would you prefer to go to Angela's or there?
Well, kinda.
Dwarin's shop is called Dwarin's Decoctions.
So we've got Dwarven shop. I've been told about him. We might get some better prices from
Substances.
him, maybe.
It's worth a shot.
And then if he doesn't have what we need, we can always go to Angela.
Yeah, exactly. The worst he could say is no.
Yeah. All right, cool. Go to Dwarven.
Alrighty.
Let's go to Dwarven.
Okay, so you head to the kind of tented section of the market square, and you kind of follow your nose for the most part. Like there are these very potent smells that Wartok, you at least would recognize as certain substances, and then there are other smells that Cyana, you would recognize as like very concentrated distillations of like natural oils and scents.
So essential. I'm smelling essential oils right now.
So it's
Wait, no.
yes and no, not in that respect, and they're different kinds of oils, but sure.
Please tell me Cyana's not going to become an anti-vaxxer.
Don't worry, I won't let
Oh
that happen.
shit, crystals, essential oils. I don't know, man.
Mm.
Well, time to put her down.
Wait,
What? No, don't worry about
Look.
it, Cyana. It's nothing.
Also, no one in
Look.
this world could be pro-vaccinations, so
Listen,
you can't like what doesn't
That is
exist.
true.
I'm
They
sorry.
don't exist in this world.
You didn't have
Look.
to say it like that.
Eventually, I'm going to become immune to disease anyway, so I'll have vaxxed myself.
see, there you go.
I like
See?
that take on the immunity disease. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm magically immune. No, it's just like, I have the Uber vaccine. You would not put it in there, but you know.
One vaccine to rule them all. It just gets injected directly into your heart.
Oh,
Jesus
no!
Christ. No.
And then it
No.
pumps
Yes.
through your whole system.
Ha.
You know, get it throughout your body the quickest.
Excellent.
Oh.
Look,
This is how we die.
look, I did that to a frog. You don't do that to a human.
No.
Just saying.
Um,
It was
But
a
yes,
dead
so,
frog.
you follow your
After you
nose
injected
to
it, we get it.
Dwaren's decoctions, and you do see this very jovial-looking dwarf behind a rather squat stand. He's currently in the process of like pouring from one like larger decanter into several smaller vials, a very viscous kind of liquid that is like this deep violet color. He's like very focused on his work as he sees you approach, and he says, "Just a moment. 2 more. Very good, and this is the last one. Excellent. What can I do for you?"
So we're looking for a couple things. Hi, I'm
I've got a
Wartok, by
couple
the
of
way.
things. I'm
Nice to meet you.
Dwaren.
Yep, you're Doran, all right. I actually heard your name from somebody.
I almost said
Um,
Dwalin, and I was like, that's not my name. That's someone else's original name.
That's fine.
And
That's
then I
fine.
realized how fucking close it was to Dwalin, and I was like, I'm an idiot.
Don't worry, Dwarin. I completely understand where you're at right now. But Rayla told me I should come see you at
Oh,
some point.
Rayla.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. How's she doing?
Yeah. She's great. No.
Good,
she's-
good.
She's got some good stuff.
You could say that again.
Yeah, she's got some good stuff. Anyway,
Mm.
so more of that,
Is
obviously.
that what you're in the? Ah, okay.
I mean, yeah, but also, my friend here, okay.
Hello.
We're looking for some stuff to help her think more lucid, and then also you need
Oils. I need rare oils and is unguents how you actually pronounce
I think
that
it's
word?
a it's a hard G, unguents.
Unguents. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm looking for that.
Any in particular that you need, or just the answer is not like no. It's kind of
No, not really. I just need
spell components then.
yeah, spell components, about 1,000 gold's worth.
1,000. Well, I don't have it all here. My stall is a little bit smaller. You'd have to come to my physical shop, which is quite a ways away. But I could do you about 400 gold worth.
Sure, that sounds good to me.
All right. Let's see.
I don't want to be a burden.
He puts the 3 vials that he like just poured from the one larger decanter out in front, and he kind of goes. There's like a few like small shelves, and he kind of starts like picking things off and setting them down. And then he goes underneath. Like there's a little bit of like a crawl space. He actually kind of like disappears from sight for a moment. And you hear a few clinking of glass, like chink, 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 chink. comes back up and sets one on the table. This one's kind of like a bigger vial with this like very dark, almost black viscous liquid in it. And then he grabs another one which looks like a balm almost, like a very thick buttery substance, in kind of a cylindrical container, and sets that down. And this continues for like a full minute as he gets various bits and bobs from parts of the small setup he has. And by the time he's done, there's like a rainbow of assorted colors in front of him in these like oils and viscous like ointments and lubricants that are the unguents that you were requesting. Kind of assorts those in front of him and says, all right, that'll just about do it. These would be, looks like 380 gold.
380? Okay.
And you said you were friends with Rayla, so that will get you these included. And he sets down another 8 doses of Nightshade.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
And you said you wanted to think more lucidly, right?
Yes.
All right. I think I've got something for that. Kind of thinks for a moment.
He just hands me an Adderall.
I'm actually trying to get my own like apothecarial knowledge. Just like, fuck, what would actually do that? I don't know. We're gonna go generic because I can't recall it off the top of my head. So he kind of rustles around for a moment on one of the shelves and then kind of like reaches
Sorry,
way
you
back and
said-
pulls something off.
You said 8 more doses
Yes.
of Nightshade?
He is giving them
Wow.
to Wartok though, so I don't know if Wartok's giving them directly to you or not. But
50-50.
okay.
50-50. Sure.
I was running low, so.
So he also takes out, like, it's a very small container, maybe like quarter-sized in diameter. And he kind of opens it up, and what you see are, like, it's not quite, like, crushed into a fine powder, but there's a bunch of, like, what's a close approximation of this size? Not like a pebble, but, like, even finer than that. Like BB sized. That's probably a good approximation. Like 6 millimeters. Like BB size little orangish like ovular balls inside of the dish, and he kind of hands that over. Yeah, it's the color of ibuprofen. It's definitely smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically like that. And he kind of sets that down and says, one of those, and well, you'll be thinking clear, that's for sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't take more than one in a day. There's lucidity, and then there's how do I describe it? Overseeing. It's not, I wouldn't quite call it a hallucination, but some folk have reported being convinced that things were real when they weren't. Conspiratorial type thoughts. So, just one.
Okay. Out of character, Christine is just like, man, I really want to try to.
Hey, can I
Do
get
it.
4?
I mean, and there are 12 pills in the bottle.
Just a little PSA to chat here. Don't eat an entire bottle of ibuprofen. Bad.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't.
Don't eat an
No
entire
promises.
bottle of anything.
Yeah.
Except
including but
peanut
not
butter.
limited to peanut butter, alcohol, wine,
What?
Water.
Why not?
One bottle of wine
bottles
isn't
are
that bad.
fine.
Yeah, a bottle of wine
I mean,
is
water,
like...
yeah.
listen,
One bottle
a
of water
bottle
is
of
not bad.
nothing is good for you.
Well,
No, a bottle of nothing will
Oh.
kill you in 3 days.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, you need a bottle of water to stave off the death.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We're all
Every
really
time you drink
addicted to
water,
water,
resets
and the
the
withdrawal
timer.
is terrible. Alrighty, so your substance shopping spree completed. What else would you like to go about and find, if anything?
I
The
would
day is
like
getting
to-
quite close to its end by this point.
There's a couple of things I want to do.
Okay.
I want to try and sell some of my old gear that I don't use.
Okay.
And then I want to go shopping for some kind of silly items, but never. It'll be.
You are cutting out a lot, my friend. I don't know if you need to
Let
get
me-
closer to your mic
Yeah, let me
or what.
rejoin real quick.
I'm so sorry, stream. Everything's gonna look terrible, and now it's back to normal. Cool.
Okay. Well, whatever. Your stream can deal with it.
Yeah, they totally
Anyway.
can.
And all 2 people who are watching us. Anyway, I
We
would
have
like. Wow.
four. Or, like, 2 of them are us, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
think 3 of them are us.
JJ. JJ, are you still there?
JJ's there, and I
And
know
Eli.
our friend Eli's watching.
Okay, cool.
What's up, Eli?
I would like to go to like a blacksmith because I have some like old armor and weapons I don't use anymore. I'd like to sell.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's relatively easy to find. He's quite hard at work. Well, all of the ones you find are quite hard at work. But, you know, for buying a bit of material off of you, they can take a moment.
Yeah, I just got some things I want to sell real quick.
Sure. What exactly is it?
I want to sell my old splint armor because I don't need it anymore with plate armor.
Mhm.
I would like to sell my light crossbow because God knows how long since it's been since I've used it.
Mhm.
And I would like to. I have some steel ingots that I would like to sell. I'm
Okay.
just casually carrying around 30 pounds worth of steel.
Nice. 30 pounds of steel. That'll actually get a better price than probably the other stuff combined.
So in total, 1 set of splint armor, a light crossbow with 20 bolts, and 30 pounds of steel ingots.
Okay. Well, the smith you come to will be a female
Mm-hmm.
tiefling. All right.
Cool.
So she kind of looks up as she's pounding away at a sword on an anvil, or what is going to be a sword. She kind of looks up and pulls it back and kind of sticks it in the coals for a moment. As you could see, the glow on the blade was beginning to dull from a bright orange to kind of a cherry red. And she steps over to the entrance to her shop and kind of stretches out a little bit and says, "Yeah, what do you need?"
Hey, I was just looking if I could sell some stuff. You could probably use some more things to melt down for material.
Yeah, metal's always good. What you got?
Let's see. I got an old set of splint armor I don't use anymore.
All
I've
right.
got a light crossbow and some bolts. I've got 30 pounds worth of just steel ingots.
30 pounds. Can I see the bolts for a sec?
Yeah, I'll hand them over. They're
Takes
probably
one
mostly
looks at
wooden,
the-
but you might be able to take like the tips.
Yeah, she's looking at the tipping. Is
Just the tip.
it's not enough really for me to make use of. That would be better sold to a general store. But the splints and the gold and the steel ingots, I'll take for 35 gold.
I got 2 more things to throw in actually, if you'd be willing.
Depends what they are.
I have so in total I have 3 long swords now. I'm going to sell one of them, which is just a basic longsword.
Okay.
And then a while back I got the Danecraft like 2-handed mace thing. I've never used it, so I'm just gonna sell it.
Okay. She looks at the longsword and says, "Wait, Holly,
Oh?
go."
Oh?
Holly was getting behind a piece of furniture that could very easily fall over if she were to back up the wrong way, so I had to get her out. Sorry.
That's fine.
That was completely out of character. Sorry about that.
Holly, their assistant?
Yeah, definitely. They're a very clumsy
dog.
assistant that's gonna knock over some rack of weapons.
Classic
Or in this
Holly.
Get outta
case,
here.
pewter dishware. Well, let's see. The longsword, I'll throw an extra 5 gold in to make it 40 total. This other piece, that metal is interesting.
Yeah, it's what do they call it? Bright steel, I want to say.
Huh. I'm interested in that just to see how it's worked. Tell you what,
Sell it to you.
I'll put in 20 gold for this. Set it aside as a project piece for later, but that's worth something. So 60 gold for the lot.
I'll take it.
All right. She takes out a pouch, counts out 6 platinum pieces, and hands them over to you. Puts the pouch back on her belt and kind of takes the ingots and the sword and the other thing.
The weapons and old armor.
Yeah, the armor, the splints, and goes and puts those over by her kiln, and then the Danecraft mace goes on a rack behind her workbench.
Just a significant degree of the random metal I was carrying around.
Well, thank you very much. I've got to get back to work, but good day to you. She pulls the sword out of the coals, and it's again like a bright orange color, and begins hammering away at it.
Cool. All right.
Alrighty.
If I have enough time left in the day, there's 2 more shops I'd like to visit.
There's probably enough time left for one of them.
Okay, I guess the silly thing will wait.
But you have tomorrow too, so.
Yeah. I want to take Wartok up on his offer. I want to go to like a cooking store or something and pick up some more spices.
Absolutely.
The happy cook.
So hopefully somewhere cheaper than the Happy Cook, because God, those prices.
Yeah.
Not great.
Cook.
The
moderately satisfied cook.
The having a slightly above average day cook.
You take him to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Roll what?
Investigation.
Oh, okay. Oh, 17. That was pretty good, actually.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So you pass by a shop that's kind of like, it would definitely get you the basics of what you were looking for, but it wasn't that impressive. So you kind of move on, thinking you could probably find a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And 15 or so minutes of exploring around that same district later, you find it has a restaurant as like its main business, but then it's also advertising outside as a place to buy cookware and cooking supplies and ingredients. And it looks like quite an upscale kind of business, so you figure that's probably a good place to check.
Yes, the gentrified Cracker Barrel business model.
Yeah, let's go with that. I like that.
Okay, I will step into the gentrified Cracker Barrel.
All right, and this is called Eknis's Eatery.
Okay.
So as you step inside, it's kind of this very like warm, welcoming environment, and just the smells that waft over you as you enter are almost intoxicating. I mean, it smells amazing in here.
Ooh.
It's very spicy. Not like heat necessarily, just like spice. Very heavy on spice. So as you're kind of looking around, there's people eating various dishes. Mostly they are grain based. They're like pasta or rice based, or cereals like oats and such. But they've been really elevated, one might say, by the addition of like milks and creams and then spices. So it's a little bit like a combination of Mediterranean and Indian foods. Kind of like if you married those two cuisines together, like the real grain base of Mediterranean and then the spicy focus that Indian food has. It's kind of like that. So yeah, uh,
Cool.
that's kind of the
I have-
environment you're getting.
Sweet. I'm gonna start looking for something resembling a spice rack.
Okay. As you kind of meander through the dining area, you don't see too much to that effect. But as you kind of get closer to the back, where you can kind of the smells are getting stronger, and you can kind of see the flash of flame, suggesting where the cooking is going on. You notice a man kind of sitting behind a countertop, very nicely dressed in like a nice velvet doublet with a high collared shirt underneath that has like a pleated front, and he has like these big puffy sleeves, and he's kind of like sitting very properly behind a table, hands kind of folded in front of him, looking out and kind of appraising his clientele, making sure that everyone is doing well in their meals, that no one needs anything. He sees you beginning to approach, and his eyes kind of wander towards you.
Hey.
Hello.
Looking for spices for cooking. This place smelled good, so I wandered in. What you
chef,
got?
are we? Well, we have just about everything you could want. Luckily for you. What are you in the market for?
Well, we've got some basic spices I'm running low on. You know, your salt, your pepper, your rosemary, your sage, dried garlic. Looking to restock on those. If you got anything fancier than that, I'd be willing to take a look too.
We can certainly replenish your stock of that. We also have some more interesting things. Among them would be cloves and nutmeg, turmeric, cardamom, cassia, and you said pepper of the black variety?
Yes, but if you have something a little spicier, that might be fun to play around with.
Well, what we have is it's a bit of an interesting flavor profile. It is the same family as black pepper, but it has a green tint to it. We call it forest pepper, as it typically is found growing just outside of the major forests in the area.
That sounds good.
It has an interesting flavor profile, as I mentioned. It has kind of a nuttiness and a smokiness to it that kind of overlays the same kind of base taste as you get in black pepper.
Probably go well with some eggs.
Most certainly. People also very much enjoy putting it on cuts of red meat, particularly venison.
Definitely can do that. Let me tell you. Let's see. How much would it be for? Let's just say like I don't know, like a small handful of each, like a little sampler.
Well, luckily for you, wartime does not put much strain on the spice business, so the prices are as they normally would be, which would be approximately a gold for each.
Sure. I'll take 1 gold piece worth of. How many spices you got?
7.
Sure. I'll take 1 gold piece worth of everything.
All right, so you get 1 gold's worth, a small handful of cloves, nutmeg, turmeric, cardamom, cassia, ginger, and forest pepper.
Sweet.
How many grams is that?
I don't know.
Asking for a friend.
30?
Not so bad, I think.
Sure.
I'm going to assume it's not so
30.
bad.
About
So
30 grams each.
It was ginger, forest pepper, cloves, turmeric, nutmeg, cardamom. What was the last one?
Cassia?
Cassia.
How do you spell that?
Cassia.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, we're good.
It's kind of a cinnamony plant.
Sounds good to me. I will gladly pay him the 7 gold and tell him to have a good night.
In fact, it is cinnamon, just a different subspecies.
Oh, sweet. All right. Well, that is my spice shopping.
Man,
Alrighty.
Jeff's gonna be making curry. It's gonna be so good. You
Yeah,
guys.
Chili night's gonna be curry night.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Let's all cook it together. Throw my love into it.
Okay, so that evening, you all return to Castell Orsin and spend the evening with Nair, passing the time. And in fact, if it's okay with you guys, I think this would be a good time to do a bit of Tales by the Fireside. And Nair will in fact involve himself with this.
Ooh, I was gonna take the Adderall, but this is fine too.
Let me find the fucking D4 somewhere in this bag.
Just sneak it in before it's time for a little chat.
Well,
That might make her more honest than she wants to be. I don't know.
yeah.
It
So-
can't be any worse than that time Wartok spiked your drinks.
Who?
You don't know, it could be. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do that anyway. I'm gonna do it anyway.
She's gonna be so good at telling stories.
So good.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, to set the scene a little bit, you all have you've had dinner with Nair. He eats relatively simply, especially as far as like the noblemen you've been around. It's a very kind of plain meal of meat and a starchy vegetable, and then a not so starchy vegetable. Well, actually, are squash considered starchy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess they are.
No,
So
they're considered squishy.
Shut
They're
up.
part of they're root vegetables. No, they're
yeah,
not.
No.
well, they're not
No,
roots,
they're
but they're
technically fruits.
Yeah. They're fibrous.
yeah. Anyway,
Anyways.
so
They make
there's a
great
few
banana
like
holders.
there's a few like winter squash. They do make great banana holders. There's a few like winter squash, but the main of the meal is venison, and it's kind of served with the squash and potatoes.
Man, that'd be a perfect meal for Jeff. He likes potatoes. He likes venison.
Yeah,
Man, we've had so much venison on the road.
it's a very
true.
it's a very popular thing in this area. Deer are just they're
I had
around.
to cook so much venison for that one dragon.
Hey, thank you, Flanell, for subscribing for 5 months.
Yay!
You rock.
Hell yeah.
All right. So yeah, you all have had this meal with Nair, and had some wine with it, and Nair kind of is just sort of he's really happy to see you guys, and he says, so why don't we sit by the fire for a little while, just chat a bit. It's been there's been a lot going on the past few months, and I would relish the opportunity to just sit and relax, even if just for a few moments.
Sure.
He kind of just walks with a group of you through the halls and leads you to kind of a like a den type room, where there is a fireplace that is pretty well stocked with firewood that's been all well seasoned, and it's kind of this like there's like starting logs next to it that are like aromatic cedar, and so as he lights them and begins kind of preparing the fire, the whole room is kind of filled with this wonderful scent of yeah, I don't know, like it's hard to describe it as anything but the smell of burning cedar. It's really quite divine, very heady. And he kind of asks one of his servants for a pitcher of mead, and a couple are brought, and he kind of pours them out in goblets and sets them before each of you, and there's just these grand armchairs that he's kind of circled around the fire, and sits himself down in one, and gestures for the rest of you to sit. And he says, it's it's an interesting place I find myself in. life hasn't always been this kind to me. And certainly, being the de facto Duke of the Lake Duchy has its low points and its tribulations. But when I look back and I think about the friends I've made, the wonderful people who've helped me, and he gestures to the group of you, and just all the opportunities I've been afforded, it's I could take 1,000 bad days as a duke and still be incredibly grateful for the opportunity that it's given me. When I was a young man, I didn't hail from the Lake Duchy to begin with. I'm actually from the River Duchy. And as you can guess, there were no small number of skirmishes on that border. I was stationed at the Orgillian garrison, which, you might know, recently fell. That kind of got me thinking about my time there. It must have been a decade ago. But I had a good friend, a brother, you'd almost call him. Man, do I miss him. His name was Baron, and we were thick as thieves. I grew up with the man. He was literally my next door neighbor. Even in that small town, it was really something else how close we were. It was, we almost lived at one another's houses. And when we joined the army, we joined together. We both went on the same day, talked to the veteran stationed in our town. Both said we wanted to join up, and he said, well, all right, we'll get you gear and we'll send you off to Orgillian. And to both of us, it was a dream come true. We'd heard about the tales of the valiant soldiers at Orgillian defying the Danish invaders that would hound them at every week. And so we went expecting great things, and for a while it was just like that. There would be a small incursion of Danish soldiers, and we'd send them back, and there'd be another small incursion. They'd try a few miles up the river, and we would depart from the fortress, take them out, and go back. And we spent the better part of 2 years in that kind of routine, and it was great. We distinguished ourselves. Both of us rose up a couple of ranks, proved ourselves to our commanding officers. Couldn't ask for more. We made other good friends in that time. We had a lot going for us, but it was hard too. Every battle had its losses. And then one day, the force that came across the river was different. It wasn't rank and file soldiers. These were, well, they were strong. They knew what they were doing. They had better gear, better command, crueler command. And, well, long story short, I lost Baron that day. He was atop the battlements of the garrison, firing his bow, and one of the stones from their siege weapons went high. Missed the wall, but hit him. I miss him. I miss him every day, and hearing about this war, it brings up those old injuries, those hurts, those wounds. The war takes its toll on all of us, and it's, somewhere deep inside, I know it's silly to mourn the loss of one man when we have armies clashing, but I can't help it. He was my friend. And I know that that's just how war works. But it helps me, because when I'm in this position and I'm telling men to go and lay their lives down for their country, I think of each one of them as Baron. And if I couldn't send him to do it, if I don't believe that it's worth fighting for, then I don't send them. So it helps put things in perspective, I suppose. But, yeah, that's just been on my mind lately. So for the group of you, I should have really done this before getting into Nair's story, but now you guys get sprung with things.
How much am I tripping right now?
How much did you take?
Just one.
So much.
Of the orange pill?
Yeah, of ibuprofen flavored Adderall.
Quick, you can take the blue pill to even it out.
It is so you're not really tripping. You do feel a strong clarity of thought. You kind of you hyper focus on Nair's story though, and you can really you're getting so into it that you can begin playing it out in your head as you're hearing it very vividly. And it kind of hurts to play those kind of scenes out, and you're like, oh shit, that's rough.
Yeah.
But you're not hallucinating,
Damn it. Okay.
Yours, by the way, is a victorious story. Wartok, yours is a tragic tale because you only ever get those.
Not again.
Why?
My life.
Why does the water boy have to be
the
sad?
fourth one?
Yeah, I think it is. You know what? Let's roll
Can I,
again just to see if he gets the same
Trade
thing.
with him?
No, this time you got a trail of loss and a tale of loss and defeat.
Cut out so much there. Say that
you
again.
you can trade with him, Cyana, if you want.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
fine with. I don't have a lack of tragic stories if you want.
Take my victory, and I get loss.
Yes, loss and defeat.
Okay.
Illiya, yours is a love story.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, that's how the die rolls.
love
Jeff,
my dad.
yours is also a love story.
Oh dear God.
I love my dad.
All right, so who wants to go first? Sorry, I really should have given you the guys the time during Nair's. Wow, should have given you guys the time during Nair's story to think of yours. My bad. I meant to, and then I completely forgot.
Next time.
I'll continue describing the scene as you guys think of your things, and then when somebody gets one, you can just interrupt me. The fire crackles and spits in the hearth. The smoke rises up through the chimney, and as you're kind of musing about it and ruminating on the story that Nair has told you, you can almost convince yourself that you see shapes and faces in the flame. As Nair details his memory of his childhood friend, you can see this image of two young, well-armed, and strapping young men standing atop the battlements of this grand fortress. Kind of that platonic ideal of knighthood shining in their eyes. And as the tale turns to... Is there something in chat that I missed, or?
No, it's your use of platonic ideal.
Why?
Nick gets it.
Oh, I see.
It was a series of videos.
That's not the same kind of platonic.
No, that's not what you're thinking of. It is
Okay.
specifically the phrase platonic ideal.
Yeah.
It was a series of videos
Okay.
You
where
ever
that
see
was
the
just
video
used
series on
over and over.
You ever see the video series Bon Appetit? It's every way to cook a blank, and it's 10 billion methods, most of which aren't practical.
Yeah.
It came from that.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
great.
All right.
And he says the platonic ideal of blank and fucking every single one.
I'm sorry that the phrase has been spoiled for you, but I mean it very truly in this sense.
Sure.
As you all kind of sip from your goblets of mead, and there is plenty to go around, so should you want a refill, there is more to be had. But the mead is it's singular. It's very interesting. It of course has the like undertones of honey that mead always does, but this has almost like a little bit of a citrus note in kind of the mid tones, and like a very warm, almost, in fact, almost like nutmeg and cloves on kind of the top notes of it to give it this kind of very like deep complexity where you get these waves of like this spiciness and then the little bit of like a bright note from the citrus that is almost immediately overtaken by this just like sweet, warming honey feeling. And it goes down very smoothly. It has almost no bite at all. The meat is excellent, truly. And on the nose, you kind of get this. The nose is very distinct from even the body of the drink. The nose has this nice kind of woodsy scent to it, like fresh herbs and like running fresh water almost. Like it's quite different from what you might expect from a mead like this, but it kind of adds to the overall experience so that as you're sipping and smelling the drink, the taste and smell kind of transport you into like this bee populated like meadow almost, and it's very pleasing.
Hello, bees.
Bees are coming. Okay.
Someone ready?
Or
are none of you all thinking and just
Nah.
listening to what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure Harley went to the bathroom so she could go think of a story, and so she didn't have to go first.
I've taken an improv course. I haven't.
All right, let's hear it.
That was improv.
Oh.
Cat, what is wrong with you? Sorry, my cat just jumped up on a table that's about this tall and landed half on.
She really
Anyway.
just did not do a good job at estimating that jump. That's
She
just
literally couldn't. Well. So this one time when I was back in the water, like
Yeah.
woo, way down the ocean, and all that. I was trying to teach some games I had learned from the pirates to the rest of the town, and well, I started teaching them, and they were gambling games.
I see.
And the rest of the town didn't know how to gamble, and
Interesting.
well, apparently, as it turns out, you can as you're shuffling, you can just sort of draw whatever card you want, and they didn't know this at that time. So we were playing this game, and man, they did not realize that it was supposed to be all luck. I just kept winning, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
I won all of their houses. They were very drunk. I gave them back to them.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd be a little worried if you hadn't. Bit of a real estate mogul in the making.
Well, it was
Free real estate.
they weren't very nice, place down there.
Oh.
It
I thought you were saying the people weren't very nice. I was like, oh, well, then take their houses.
The people were fantastic. No, I loved the people like family. It was what we had down there wasn't much.
I see.
But for about 10 minutes, I owned it all. that part was pretty great.
That is pretty impressive. You
Welcome
know,
back,
Wartok,
Illiya.
it seems a lot like you tend to take very little and make quite a lot out of it. You
What I
say
can.
you talk about these folks, and they lived in a place with relatively little, and their houses weren't all that nice. But you took that little bit and you made it valuable. You taught those people something new. You had fun with them. You brought joy into their lives. That's something I really like about you. It seems to follow you where you go too. You have this way of getting people to like you and
Ooh.
making them happy.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. People are really gullible.
Gullible or not, the happiness you bring to them is still happiness.
Fair. Well, I do what I can.
I think you do it quite well. That'll really, I think that'll take you far. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you. You're all right yourself.
I do what I can. It's, I wasn't given a lot of choice.
Yeah.
But here we are. Anybody else? So I won't make this one really mandatory because we are kind of running up against 11 o'clock here. But if anyone else would like to tell a tale by the fireside to finish us out, you are welcome to do so.
I vote Jeff.
What? Right,
Love story,
oh,
lover
God.
boy.
If you didn't think of one, I can go.
You go. I'll give you a little bit more time to think of something.
Okay, well, this talk of friends reminds me of my good friend that I have back home, Astrid, and about the time that I met her. She is another girl of the cloth.
I see.
And
Where is it that you hail from, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't remember what we decided, Matt. It was either the coastal one or the plain. No, maybe not plains. I remember we decided on one, but I can't remember which one it was. I'll write it down this time. But anyways,
I do believe we said the coastal duchy.
We did? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that would make sense why I knew the thing had saltwater damage rust. Anyways, Astrid came to my cloister differently from me. I was given there as a child because I had no one else to go to, and she came there of her own accord because it's what she believed in.
I see.
We didn't click right away. It's not to say that we didn't like each other. We just didn't really talk. But one day, there was this noble boy in town, and he just wouldn't leave these other, less outspoken cloister girls alone, even though they were visibly uncomfortable. So, Astrid and I, being some of the older girls, took one look at each other and decided this noble boy needed to be taught a lesson.
Rightly so.
So, in as little words as possible, we beat the snot out of that noble boy. We absolutely, pardon my language, kicked his ass.
Hell yeah, Illiya.
And we received quite a wallop from the
I would
father
imagine
for
so.
that. But every moment of that was worth it, because I made one of the greatest friends I'll ever have in my entire life. She wanted to come with me when I left. She wanted to help me find my father, but she was in training to be the next one to succeed.
The head
That one
abbess?
Yes.
I see.
And I couldn't let her give that up.
That is good of you. You know, Illiya, I don't know you as well as the others here, but it sounds like you fit right in. That kind of not taking shit from anyone. That's what makes this group who they are, I think. Standing up to a Petrus the way you all did. Yeah, nobility does not mean you are immune. So
that boy certainly wasn't.
I think I'll sleep well tonight knowing that someone like you is in this castle with me. Won't need to fear any punk-ass noble bitches. I like it. Bet he thought twice about pestering anyone else, huh?
Oh, he never came to that town again.
Good. Well, does anyone else want to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God.
You had your time.
Okay, like I thought of a story was really dumb, and I apologize in advance.
Excellent.
You can do it.
You heard mine. You could.
Just
Believe in you.
do it.
We believe in you.
Okay. Why did you bring Navi here? I haven't forgiven her
Leave
yet.
her
Because
alone.
if you don't tell your story, she'll piss in your bed.
Dang it! I see.
We'll turn her invisible and cast fly on her. And fly her over to your house and
No, that'd be the worst.
That does not rain.
Just
All right, fine. I'll do my best. Love story, huh? Okay. So before we came in to the castle for the night, I went to a upper end restaurant / cooking store.
Yes.
And so some of, I don't know, just going to that place brought back some memories.
Oh.
So I believe it was Harvest Day. I was 15 at the time, which out of character is like 18 human years because Dragonborn mature faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically whenever it was Harvest Day, all the farmers would gather up their crops and everyone would go into town and we'd have like a big festival where we try to sell all the crops, but it was also just like a good time to have some fun because like, you know, we got through like the hard labor of the year, so it was time to relax a little bit, right?
Of course. I remember those days well. And fondly.
Yeah, so when did this happen that day? I just came off of like, you know, the grease pig competition. I won, of course.
Excellent.
But
Excellent.
like at the time, after I got myself like, you know, cleaned up from the muck, I was walking around town trying to find where my parents went because like I lost them. I guess they went off to go try to do some business with some people. But I was walking around town with my shirt off. I was getting some weird looks from people. For some reason, all the girls were looking at me kind of weird. And a couple of them, I noticed one of them looked a little bit shy. Looked like she was thinking about walking up to me. And I thought about saying something, but then I smelled like the most amazing smell in the world, and I just forgot about like everything. That's like how good the smell was. So
Wow.
I started following the smell on my nose, trying to figure out what it was. Apparently there's some sort of like cooking competition going on a couple stalls over, and it had just ended and people were offering samples of what they cooked to everybody, and there was just like the most like amazing meat and potatoes pie I'd ever seen in my life. It smelled like heavenly, like I couldn't resist. I just walked over there and I helped myself to a piece, and it was the best thing I'd ever eaten to this day. It was just the meat was perfectly cooked. potatoes nice and soft, just spiced up to perfection. It was incredible. And that's kind of, I guess, being in the cook store kind of reminded me of that, because that's kind of how I started to take notice of food and how I started to, fall in love with cooking. I wish I had more time to practice at home in hindsight, but I'm getting better at it, I think. I'm glad that I found the time to rekindle the hobby.
Yeah, it's always cool to see how much senses can bring our memories back. I've kind of noticed that myself lately.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds excellent. Sometimes, the best things in life are just those simple pleasures that we kind of, maybe don't even take that much note of in the moment, but they really mean a lot to us. That's good. That's good to hear, Jeff. And yes, from what I hear, you've become quite the cook.
Yeah, everyone seems to be enjoying my food so far. Just trying to practice when I can, make up for lost time.
Oh, keep at it. Food is a great way to get people to open up.
It's a good way to bring people together. Always was, always will be.
Absolutely. Food and he kind of raises his goblet, and drink. Here's to us, to friendships old, and he looks at Wartok, Jeff, and Cyana, and new, and he looks at you, Illiya. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Kind of takes a long draft, finishing up what's in his goblet of the mead, and says, well, it's really been nice to chat with you all like this. I wish we had more opportunities to do so, but I think I'd best turn in for the evening. Got a long day ahead of me tomorrow.
I think we'll be around a couple more days. It's gonna take our friend over at the academy a couple days to finish his work, but
yes, well,
we got time tomorrow. We'll come by and see you again.
I look forward to it. Let's see. Joffrey will see you to your quarters, and I'm going to head to my own. Good evening.
Good night to you as well, friend.
As he leaves, a little a halfling man kind of walks in and says, "Oh, this way. I'll show you to your places."
Okay.
Yeah.
And he leads you to each of your individual rooms, where actually the same ones the three of you stayed in before, and then Illiya, of course.
Yes, I remember this bed. It was great.
The beds are extremely comfortable, and you fall into a quick and easy sleep. And that is where we will pick up next time.
Yeah!
Okay,
All right.
I did warn you that my story was going to be dumb.
I liked it,
Well, no,
actually.
it's
It was a
funny.
fun
I
twist.
thought it was gonna be
It was
about
great.
some village girl.
Exactly, it was a good twist.
You cut out what?
Nothing. It's fine.
Exactly what you thought she was going to say, because you knew what everyone was going to expect that story to be.
See, I
But
thought
it was
you
a
were
good
like,
twist,
I fell in love with those spices I found today.
right?
Anyway,
Alright, well, thank you everybody for joining us on tonight's episode of BionDnD, and may all your rolls be lucky.